Guys, hope you're good. Welcome back to the channel. I have something special in store for you today. Today, we are giving you the full online coaching business course. So the next video you're going to see is me getting straight into sharing my screen and going through an online coaching business course. This is the course that my clients in the past have paid thousands for, but I put it together for you for free. So what we're going to cover is the online coaching mindset, your pricing models for online coaching, your online coaching offer, how to make it irresistible. Online coaching is hybrid mindset. Shifting the PT identity. If you're a PT right now and you want to grow your online business, you need to shift the PT identity, at least internally and externally for your followers. Transitioning one-to-one clients to online coaching marketing, like a high-level view and then zoomed in, and then getting your first 10 or your next 10 online clients, the online coaching sales process, and that is it. It's a lot, it's 2.5 hours. I suggest you watch this in sections, but please do me a favor and yourself, do not just take this on board, watch it, and then go away back into the big world. Make notes, get a separate notepad for this full course, and go and take action, because without action, it is just all theory and nothing changes, okay? If this video gets 15 likes, I will release a higher level version of this. So we'll go even deeper. We'll go into the sales strategy, sales calls, DMs, all of that good stuff. But this should sort you out right now. This should get you another 10 clients. As soon as you watch this and implement it, you will get another 10 online clients, 100%. So enjoy. Okay, welcome to this video, online coaching mindset. This won't be a long one, but really I want to drill this home before we get into the fancy tactics and strategies and all these types of things. Like, I cannot stress why you need to get inside the online coaching mindset before, you read what everybody else is posting, you look at all the mad glory, glorified stories out of context that you have no idea what they are. For example, is people posting like online coaching wins. So, other business coaches might post, oh, look at this client who's fully online and they're earning 9K. And really, like, what they've done is, like, they've probably still got some coaching clients that are making 3-4K, and the rest is made up of online, and they're putting it all together because, as you'll know from the pricing training, that getting up to a 7 or 8 or 9K online coaching only business mathematically takes a lot. So I really want to get you into this kind of what online coaching actually is, so that you can set up your expectations and so that you can follow a path that is actually true, instead of being misguided, instead of trying to follow this like fake fabricated world that online coaching isn't, right? So, like, what is online coaching? Well, it's quite simple. It's like providing fitness services to your clients online. Now, you speak to your granny or people who are not in this industry and they don't even have a clue what it is, right? And this is the kind of challenge that we're overcoming. And you might think, because you follow a million personal trainers and stuff, that everybody knows what online coaching is, and they don't know what it is. Now, this takes me on to my next point of like why you should never actually call it online coaching. You'll hear me talk about this in a million different trainings, but like, you're selling a solution to problems or solutions to problems. So, like, the fact that you call it online coaching is just unacceptable. Now, you should have a service that solves problems in a business name. And I can't tell you how many people are like, they put in their story like, hey guys, we've got 2 more spaces for my online coaching. It's like, so basically what you've done is called it the same as every other coach. And that's why it's ridiculous, right? So not only do people not know what online coaching is, you now are saying the same thing as every other coach. So the person's just like, oh, everybody does it then. And you're not isolating your service away from the crowd. Okay, so never call it online coaching. But online coaching is essentially doing the same thing as personal training, but not actually going to meet the client in person for a personal training session. That's it. There's no differences. There should still be as strong as a community. We're going to watch another video, the hybrid video, where I firmly believe you should at least see your clients, in a quarter, in a 3-month period, a client session, big meetup, photo shoots, all that kind of good stuff. Unless you want to go to the other side of the world and not have to speak to people, then, which I don't think is a good move for a lot of people, but, that's a topic for another day. So that is what online coaching is, and why you should never call it online coaching. Now, online retention versus one-to-one retention. I want to set you up from the get-go that retaining clients online is a lot harder than retaining one-to-one clients. So you might be coming into this video with a full one-to-one diary. Maybe you've just got it as full as you would like it, and you're kind of just like, you know what, I really just want to start taking online clients on because I'm kind of fed up of being in the gym floor too much. Be aware that
not only are you quite new to online coaching and maybe one-to-one is your strength, not only that, but like clients just do not build the same bond online as they do with you in person. So that's just a fact. Okay, so I need you to realize that from the get-go, because what's going to happen is you're going to build up this online coaching service and you're immediately going to start feeling triggered by the fact that people are leaving a lot quicker, and you're going to second guess yourself and think, do you know what, this online coaching program's crap. Now it probably is, but you're probably making it better. But if you remember the first time you started personal training, people didn't stay straight away. And what you start to do is you compare your online coaching business with your one-to-one business that you've probably been doing for a long time. But for most coaches who are good and they get full one-to-one, they're people. They literally talk to people, they make them feel great, they come in, clients come in for an hour, they leave, and you make them feel amazing, right? But you can't get that with online coaching. Now, you can build it up, you can build a community, build rapport, absolutely, but it's nowhere near as good as one-to-one. So I want you to understand that retention is going to be a lot harder, which is why we put such an emphasis on monthly recurring revenue with it, right? Now, let's talk about the differences between online selling versus one-to-one selling. So one-to-one selling is 100 times easier. Why? Because you can say to the person in DMs or on the gym floor, hey, do you want to grab a consultation tomorrow? We'll sit down, we'll go over your goals and stuff. You sit there in person, one-to-one, going over your goals with this person. Now think about that, okay? So that straight away allows you to sell a lot better. Now, this is where it gets trickier for online, because like you might take them on a Zoom call, you might talk to them on a phone call, and some of you guys are better in person and you can't articulate it over a call, because if it comes into a call or a Zoom call, you immediately go into, oh my God, I'm selling to someone here, and that's where you come up with all your worrying and second guessing, okay? So I just want you to know from the get-go that online selling is a lot harder than one-to-one. However, with online, you can absolutely take people through a much longer journey. Yes, it takes longer, but when someone goes to sign up online and have been following your stuff for a while, the chances are they've binged on your content. They've probably downloaded a few, 3 things. But, so with that, they also are willing to part with more money. And what's amazing about that is the fact that you can collect a good payment up front to combat the fact that potentially your retention might be worse. Now, I don't want to put it in your head that if you've been online coaching for a while and retention's pretty good, great. Now, I would also argue that never talk to me about retention if you're charging less than 150 quid a month. Because if you're charging less, you've not got good retention, you're just cheap, right? Now, a lot of people come to me and say, my retention's amazing. And then we look at their CRM and they're like 127, 125, 130, 140. It's like, nah, your retention isn't good. You're just cheap. So that's the key difference between online selling and one-to-one. We'll talk about like posting content online and stuff like that for the selling aspect of it. But I want you to realize that, you know, you probably get a very good record with selling one-to-one coaching in person. Be prepared for online to take a little bit longer, for more rapport to be built, for more objection handling. Because let's face it, you're going to tell people, hey, you know, you're going to put a post up, you're going to speak to people, your target market struggles, and someone's going to inquire, go, hey, I really love your stuff. I'd just love to see, you know, inquire about how much it is to join your program. You'll tell them the program. They'll say, okay, cool. When is it we're meeting for sessions? And you'll go, we don't meet for sessions. I'm fully online. Right, I need a personal trainer. And you go, no, you don't. It's fine, this and that. You see, so like the big objection there is that they think they need a PT because they don't know how to lift weights in the gym. And you probably sell lifting weights in the gym. So it's about convincing yourself as much as it is convincing them that you can do it. And this comes through proof that you can do it. Okay. The marketplace. So again, like I want you to understand how your environment affects what your view of the marketplace is. So if you're following a whole bunch of PTs and all you see is, oh, buy my online coaching program, here's my prices, and we're looking for 5 more clients. Like if all you follow is PTs, then you're going to think the marketplace is saturated. I have over 150 clients, and like the market is not saturated. The market is saturated with shit PTs and shit coaches who are only prepared to be business owners. That's what it's saturated with. It is not saturated for people like you who are investing in yourself, going through the offer trainings, watching this stuff, and willing to do the work that makes you stand out. Okay, so get that out of your head right now. There is not too many online coaches out there. There is literally like 100 different angles of the fitness business. There's multi-millionaires in every part that, you know, I don't even know their names. There is people who are the most successful in fitness industry for making money, and they are not who you think they are, because there's so many facets to fitness and fitness business. Okay, so get that out of your head right now that the marketplace is crowded. It is not crowded. I go on my feed every day and all I see is the same NPC duplicate coaches marketing their services, and there's about 10% who are like, right, they've got it, and I want you to be that person. Okay. Posting content online, like, I want you to get this in your head right now, but I know this sounds so obvious, but I speak to so many coaches and they're like, oh yeah, I want to go fully online so I can travel and things like that. And then at some point they'll go, yeah, I just don't really like posting content. It's like, hold on a absolute minute here. If you think you're going to be an online coach and you're only prepared to post content online, what the hell are you expecting? What are you expecting? So you're watching this right now and you're thinking, oh, I want to start an online coach program, but I don't really want to post on social media. What are you going to do then? Are you going to send emails? That could work, but by the way, that's still posting online. So you might find a way that you go, do you know what? No, I'm going to do 2 or 3 other things. Chances are it's got to be online. At the end of the day, you have to be found by people. So if you want to, if you look at all this amazing freedom that you apparently get, which I'll cover in a second, and you think that online coaching is the one for you, it's the holy grail, then you have to realize that if you're coming from being a PT to being an online coach, you have to double down on your content. And I mean double the amount of volume, double the execution, double the amount of people and interactions you have. Because like I said, it's a lot harder to sell. So you're going to have to make sure that you increase the frequency to give yourself more of a chance to sell, right? So I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but if you want to grow an online coaching program, you absolutely must post online. And I know you might think, Chris, that's pretty obvious. Trust me, there'll be people watching this who are like, oh, no, but I don't want to. Well, you can't run an online coaching program. It's a bit like opening a cafe and saying, oh, I don't really want to ask people to come in. I just want people to walk by and they've got a street with nobody on it and no other shops near them. It's like, no, I think you're going to have to tell people where it is, right? To take me on my next point here, this is another thing that I think is actually a kind of hidden gem now, because everybody's selling the online coaching dream and how to post content and market themselves. But the reality is, like, the most relatable people you will find is the people in your city. Why? Because they speak your language, they speak your slang, they can relate to you most. You can talk about, local areas. For chatting purposes, you can talk about pubs, restaurants, all these types of things. You can talk about where they're from, what school they went to. And so many people try and get clients from all over the world. And it's like, look, take a little slice of your hometown's pie and just get people from there. At the end of the day, how many online coach clients do you actually need? 30, 40 max? Maybe you want 50, 60, that's fine. But like, most of your clients should just come from your local area. So you need to be making sure that if you're going to go on social media and stuff to find your ideal clients, just look for Glasgow or look for Edinburgh or look for London or look for Manchester, wherever you are, just go and find people in that area. So if you've got, you help females at the age of 20 to 40 or whatever, go and find people that age by searching on social media and dominate the local area first. Get most of your clients from there, then eventually you'll start to notice that, people will inquire from all different parts of the UK. I see so many coaches right now try to be worldwide online coaches. It's just not necessary, right? Next piece, your lifestyle can complement or complicate it. And when I say it, I mean growing your online coaching business. Now, there's so many coaches that we see who love it. They've got a goal to just travel, right? But I can't tell you how many coaches I've seen struggle because they've went fully online and then just travelled to Bali, Thailand and all these things. And they've went on a different time zone. They haven't had the infrastructure set up in their business. They aren't posting content. They haven't got a unique selling point or offer. They haven't installed marketing strategies to work round the clock when they're not, continually doing stuff, and their business has crumbled. And, we have learned enough now to make sure that any coach of us that tries to do it, we make them very, very clear on if they don't do X, Y, Z when they're away, these are the consequences. Because not only in a different time zone, but a different IP address, which means your content might not get pushed to your local followers. You're definitely not going to be working as hard because you're kind of in this weird limbo stage. And by the way, I'm not talking about a holiday here. I'm talking about just actually taking loads of time. You need to make sure you've got savings in behind you. So your lifestyle can kind of complicate it a little bit. Now, if you go, I don't care, and put my foot down, I would rather try and grow it like this than just being at home and being able to do more. Then fine, that's your prerogative. But you've got to understand that it will take longer and it will be harder. Now, this is the exact opposite of what these other business coaches are telling you on social media and stuff about how easy it is just to, quit the gym floor, go online, take your laptop, travel about and be anywhere. Whilst they've got like hundreds of thousands of pounds more than you, right? Do not buy into the lie until you're established, until you're confident, you know, that you've got an consistent flow of leads. You know that you believe in yourself, and maybe you've got some team members as well. Okay. And the other part is like it can complement it. Like at the end of the day, if you're living as an inspirational leader, you're being inspiring to people and things like that, then it can absolutely complement it. You've just got to make sure you've got the business infrastructure. You know, if you're living the life and you're in shape, maybe, or you're, you know, just really inspiring, you've came from a place where you've not had much money and stuff like that, and you're doing really well, you're helping a lot of people, then your lifestyle can definitely complement it. But you've got to understand, like, you know, where the little differences are with overemphasizing how much it can complement it and underestimating how much it can complicate it. Okay. Another thing is you don't get ultimate freedom. Like this kind of goes hand in hand. Like people think that just becoming an online coach is an instant freedom, but let me tell you this, you will probably work double the time. And if you're coming from the gym floor to online, yes, you'll probably buy back 20 hours or whatever, 25 hours from not being on the gym floor, but you will replace that with laptop hours. If you don't, then you're just trying to work part-time and not get paid. Trust me, your income will just keep going down and down and down. So I know this all sounds a bit like down, but I'm trying to give you the realistic take on it. Of course, you can fix this and build it up, but I just want you to get into that mindset, because like how many people I've saw like go fully online, especially post-COVID, so many went online, and I, honestly, it sounds bad me saying this, but I was sitting on social media looking at people and I go, and they're putting up posts like, oh, I quit the gym floor. And it's like, you will be back coaching 100%. And they were. Some of them even left the industry because they didn't manage their expectations properly, because they followed the wrong crowd. They looked and they thought it was easy. They thought they would just book flights here, there and everywhere. And they never protected their community. They never got client results. They never had the systems. Next thing you know, they're sitting there going back on the gym floor, which there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. But my point here is this is a whole online coaching module that I'm covering, but you don't get ultimate freedom yet. You know, I should probably put in here yet. But even then, you know, with the greatest respect, my business is probably a lot bigger than yours, and I certainly don't have freedom, right? Because freedom to me is enjoy my business. Freedom for some people is not doing any work. And if that's the case, if you're watching this video and you think that you want to do it, you don't want to do any work, then you must have a trust fund sitting there. Anyway, that is the online coaching mindset. Please get into this, because if you understand all of this and you know that that's the truth, you can then go away and it actually gives you power back to know that, you know what, that could be the case, and it allows you to have high standards of your online coaching service. Okay, see you in the next video. Okay, welcome to the pricing models for online coaching. Let's have a deep dive on this. Now, this is a funny one, because like online coaching, pricing it up is obviously going to depend on experience. It's going to depend on how comfortable you are at selling, what you already have in the business. But at the end of the day, I think covering this stuff here is going to give you at least a guidance, because this is way better than, you know, when you ask somebody what you should charge for online and they just hit you with, oh, it depends, and it's just useless, right? So we're going to give you an exact structure. We're going to cover the going rate. We're going to cover why charging more makes it easier to close. We're going to talk about mistakes that I see coaches make, doing the maths, and when to raise prices. Lastly, the main takeaway. Okay, so nice short video, but one that I think is mega important for you to actually go away and start pricing up your service, because so many coaches overthink this, whether you're a one-to-one PT starting to look to take online clients on, or whether you're just going to go online from the get-go online. So let's have a look. So going rate, obviously it's about £150 to £300 a month. I've seen some people charge more than that, but realistically, like, they must be specialists in their field or whatever. Maybe they've got a different type of target market, but for the majority of us, you're going to fall inside this £150 to £300 per month bracket. Now here's a note here: do not charge any less than £150 a month. It's actually undercutting and doing a disservice to the work. Like, it's doing a massive disservice to just coaches in general. Now, this happened in the PT game when I was personal training. People were charging like 20 quid. You know, they were selling blocks of 12 or 16. The more that they sold, the cheaper it got. So they used to say they're £40 an hour, but actually if you bought like 16 sessions of them, it would go down to like $17.50 and all that kind of stuff. So it's crazy. And I'm going to talk about the maths in a minute, and why, you know, you literally can't charge any less than 150, because the math just doesn't work out for you to actually get the income you need for the amount of work you're putting in. Okay, so do not charge any less than £150 a month. If you're like, Chris, but I'm brand new, cool, start at 150, right? No less than that. So here's a point here, why charging more makes it actually easier to close, so actually to sign the person up on the phone, right? So let me give you an example of this, right? We have a lot of coaches who charge about £150 a month, right? Some people charge like, honestly, like 125 and stuff like that, right? And you know the funny thing is, it doesn't matter if this is 197, like 125, you will still get people saying no. And I'll tell you the reason why. Like when you speak to someone on the phone or, you know, on a Zoom call or whatever, and you're like, this is the price, guess what? If they say they can't afford it, where are you going to go from there? Because like what you're going to do, you're going to just take money off it, which is just absolute no-no in the business game, right? So actually, if you have a monthly price like this, you have nowhere to go to anchor it. You know, and that's why, like, if you think of any buying behaviours that you do with when it comes to buying anything, whether it's like a Hoover, whether it's like going online to buy specific clothes, whether it's online to go and buy like, you know, furniture for your house, anything really requires you to price, do some research on price, doesn't it? And like if you come to the end of a sale and everything's went all hunky-dory and well, and they just think, I can't afford £150 a month, there is nowhere for you to go. So that's a major problem. Okay, so what we want to look at is we want to have an upfront price. So I'm going to just aim low here and going to go the very bottom range, which is 150, right? So you want to have an upfront payment, you want to have a down payment, a split, and a monthly. Now let me explain what that is, right? So if it's 150, and let's say we're going to sell for a minimum in 90 days, that's what we're going to sell for, right? And I'll talk about that in a second, but minimum 90 days, so they're going to be with you for 90 days. Now, up front, that would be £450, right? But we want to incentivise up front, so we're not going to charge that. Now, what you could charge is like 400. You could charge something like 397. It just sounds a little bit better, right? So we're going to charge that. We're going to charge 397. And then when I say 397 to them on the sale, like they're going to be like, oh, right, okay, I can't afford that. Then comes the down payment. So what you can say to them is like, you know, what can you afford? And they might turn around and say, well, I could probably put down like 200. It's like, great, cool. What we'll do then is we'll take 200 now, and then in 30 days' time, we'll take the other 197. Cool? Perfect. And what you've done there is you've split this over 2 paydays for them. And it's now much more manageable because automatically what you've done is you've saved them £197 from this month's wage. Can you see the difference by just going in at 150? So now you have an anchor for a price here. Okay. Now, what happens sometimes as well is you'll get people who go, honestly, I can't afford, like, it'd probably be like 150 I could afford, something like that. So what that then does is takes us up to our actual monthly payment, right? Now, there's another one of what you can afford and split. They're kind of similar, right? But like, if you could say to them, okay, if you can't afford 397, you know, can you do 2 lots of 200 then? And that's a split pay. And it's very similar to up here. It's almost the exact same. But as the price goes up and changes a little bit, up to 497, 597, this gets a little bit different than these two. But like, you could say, what can you afford? Or you could say, do you want to split it over 2 paydays? And it's like, yeah, actually, I could manage that over 2 paydays. Perfect. And this is how it works. You pay 200 now to get started, and then in 30 days' time on your next payday, you pay the other half. Okay? So that's how it works. That's the split pay and the down payment. Similar things. They get a little bit different as you go up the price brackets because, you know, you need to take advantage of it. But this question here of like, let me just make these bold so they pop a little bit better for you. So down payment, what can you afford? Like, what can you afford, or what can you put down today? And this just gets them to see that you're actually trying to do something to get them involved. Like, look, you're actually a really good fit. It'd be a shame to kind of, you know, to not be able to take you on and help you with goal XYZ when actually you're a great fit and price is in the way. Let's see what we can do here. Right, and if they still can't afford that, now you've got to make sure that they're actually a good fit here before you offer them this. But this is where you could come in and go, okay, what we can do then is we can do monthly payments. We don't usually do it, but it's 120 times 3 each month. Now what you're doing here is you're getting an extra £50. So like when the prospect gets an actual idea here, like, right, okay, wait a minute. So it's £400 if I pay up front or split, but it's actually £450 if I go monthly. Now, the point here is that we're incentivising the upfront payment. Now, what a lot of people think with us focusing MRR, they think that we don't take, we only take monthly payments. It can be further for the truth. We take upfront payments as well. MRR isn't a price point, right? Now, what we are very, very comfortable with and the principles of MRR is we know we're going to keep them after this. Now, here's a big problem that I see other business coaches and stuff say. They tell you to charge a stupid amount of money up front. Usually it's something like $997, right? And this is for like, this is for 3 months. And on the back end, aka when it runs out, they tell you to do a rolling monthly payment of something ridiculous like 127 or something like that, 147. Now, their theory is that you can collect a lot of cash at the point of sale. And, you know, trust me, this is the road to volatility. Like, how can you be that price and then onto that? Now, their theory is that, oh, the client just recurs monthly and doesn't bother. Bullshit, right? A lot of nonsense. And this is why we've been able to build such a recurring, stable business. And this is why we're the only ones that focus on MRR, right? Because we know we can keep them in the back end of this. So the monthly option is this, 150 times 3, and that could be your monthly, okay? Now, the minimum commitment is going to be 3 months. Now, ideally, when you get up and more experienced, you want to sell 6 months because, like, think about it. People have at least 6 months of work to do. Some of them have got way more than that, but it's always difficult to probably sell 12 months, so let's be realistic here. Okay, so to recap, make sure you've got an upfront payment that anchors the monthly payment. If they can't afford that, ask them what they can afford and what they can put down today. If they're way off your figure of halving it and way off this figure, then frankly, they're not a good fit, right? But if they're close to this payment, happy days, boom, 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 double payment, happy days, right? And that's the commitment length, is 3 to 6 months. You want to, if you're just starting out and you're not kind of used to selling, start at 3 months and then you want to work up to 6 months, okay? If, like, one last point to note here is live. I want to, like, keep your pricing live. Now, what I mean by that is literally this. Like, if someone can say, look, how much is it if I just pay all 6 months of my credit card? Like, just save a bit of money for them monthly. Work it out there and then. Don't flap, okay? But you will get it. So keep your pricing live, right? As long as you don't undercut yourself, keep it live. Make it work for the prospect and you, okay? So here's some of the mistakes I see coaches make. They never do a price rise, right? And I'm going to go on to talk about the maths here in a minute, and this will tell you why you need to do a price rise. They never do a price rise. Now, when I think you should do a price rise is when you've sold 10 people at that particular price point. That means, you know, if you've sold 10 people, don't get me wrong, like if you've had 50 sales calls and only sold 10 of them, then it's not ideal. But if you've sold 10 with relative ease and comfort, get it up, get the price up, because it means there's people wanting it. So 10 times 10 at that price point. So for example, if you sell 10 people at 397, get it up to 447, put another 50 quid on top of it, okay? Another mistake is they only charge one way, so they'll literally stay rigid to upfront only, or they stay rigid to monthly only. Now I'm going to go and show you the maths of why you have to have both in here, okay? And then another problem that coaches have is they think online coaching is just an extra, right? I'm just going to make some extra cash on the side while I PT. You are not going to, right? Online coaching is a full separate service that needs to be treated with respect, right? There is so much competition out there when it comes to online coaching that you thinking it's some passive income while you're on the gym floor for 8 hours a day is not on. Now, you could have got away with it a couple of years ago just as a wee extra when online coaching was, you know, kind of coming out there and being more commercial. Now, no chance, right? You're doing your reputation a disservice by taking people on and not able to give them the service that they require, okay? So it's not extra cash. And I'm going to deep dive more into the mindset of online coaching with that. Okay, so doing the math, right? And this is why, like, if we talk about people who typically go about 135, right? Like, I want you to think of your results and your goals, right? So if we think of doing the math, like, what's your income goal? For the next 6 months. Okay, and then I want you to think the next 12 months, what's your goal, right? And then I want you to think about your current price point. And I want you to think of, like, if I had 40 online clients, which is quite impressive, but if I had 40 of them, how much is that? That's £5,000, £5,400. 40 people that I need to manage at 135. That's a lot of people. Now, don't get me wrong, you're going to have some good profit margins here because you're not in a gym, you're not tied down to any time frame, but 40 people will still see you glued at your laptop for a good couple of hours a day. Make no mistake about it, right? You know, if I change this to 150 times 40, by the way, this is me being generous with 40, like, that's a lot of people. This is 6K exactly, right? Now this is where it gets interesting. Like if you are charging 150 and you have 20 clients, that is £3,000. So think about that for a second. Like, and if that's 20 people online, and if you're charging 135 at 20, it's half of that. Can you see what I mean here? How like it's like it starts to get a bit worrying. Like if you just charge too little. So 150, 20 people, that's 3K. Now let me show you like a kind of, to be realistic with you, from a kind of like if you're just building online coaching, you're kind of been doing it for a year or so and you want to build it up. If you have 20 clients recurring at 150, right? And let's be reasonable as well here. If we have 4 sales a month, right? And if we times that, like if we have 4 sales at let's just call it £400 for simple maths, that's another £1,600 on top of 3K. So like if you can keep 20 clients and you can sign one client a week at £400 a month, one client a week for the month, that's another 4 fours or 16. That's £4,600 total. Now that might be amazing for you. And the idea of that, you might be licking your lips. Perfect, that's cool. But can you see if we just go any less than 150? Can you see if we only charge 150? So let's change this to like, let's say you get 4 sales. This changes to 150. And that's only £600. So not only do we have to manage 20 clients, we have to get 1 sale a week at 150. That's 150 times 4 equals 600. So like you might be looking at it and going, that's really tough. And look, this is a great place to get to. Like if you can get to 6K here, but as you can see, 40 is a lot of people. Now what I would say is that when you get to 20 clients, you do build up a lot of good belief. You can definitely bump this up. But I just want you to think of the maths. Now you might be sitting here thinking, I don't care, I'll take 20 clients online at £100 and that's too, like think of that. Some coaches are charging £100. 20 clients is 2K. Like that's a lot of people to deal with. Whether you're not in the gym floor or not, you might be sitting watching this as a PT going, no, I'll happily take that. But you've got to do the maths and it's got to make sense for you. Okay, so I'll leave this on the screen so you can have a look at it. My ideal situation is that you'd be, let's say you have 150. I would say that if you could be up at like 497, timesing it by 4, 2K. So that's 2K of additional sales on top of this. And then over time, maybe like in 90 days time, you move these people from 150 up to 175. And all of a sudden, let's say we have 20 here. At 3,500. And then if we just add on the 2K for sales, we're at 5,500 with 20 people and obviously 4 new people coming in. Can you see that? So like the reason that people are making a lot of money online really is like because of the amount of emphasis they put on sales. And by the way, like if you don't have this number high enough, then this number needs to be way higher. So which means you're going to have to post a lot of content, which means you're going to have to send a lot of DMs, run a lot of challenges, do all the things that you were talking about. This number has to go up. Otherwise, you're stuck at this low rate. And for us, with the principles of MRR, we want our MRR model solid. Guys, by the way, like this is not including losing clients. Like this is just assuming that every month you're just going to grow and keep these people and add this on. Like this goes up and down, as you know. So that's the doing the math section of this. You just have to do the maths. It's not like it's about maths, not emotions. Okay? Perfect. So when to raise prices, like I kind of mentioned there, when you sell 10 of the same price point, pop it up, right? Because if you're selling 10, it means you're good at selling, you're used to it. It also means you've got some supply and demand there. And then by also doing this, like in that time frame between selling 10, you should have more results. You should be improving the service with upgraded coach work. And you've earned a price rise. Okay? When I say when to raise prices, I mean for prospects, right? When it comes to raising your prices for your clients, then just make sure these two have improved. And I'd say look at increasing your prices at least once a year. substantially, not just an extra fiver, okay, instead of trying to do it once in 4 years and then pissing everybody off. Okay, lastly then, the main takeaway, you sell a roadmap to their goals, you're not selling a transaction. Look, this is all just numbers, right? And it's going to be specific for everybody. But at the end of the day, it's not about prices and prices and time frames. It's about what actual result you're selling here. The roadmap to their goals. Remember that, right? Now, I know that I said mention like your offer and your pricing live and stuff like that, but the roadmap to their goals is the key here. You know, and I'm going to talk about that when how to actually sell online coaching. But just I wanted to just bring it up a wee bit here because so many coaches just overthink pricing. They think it's the golden nugget. It's not at all. Honestly, man, you could go on 20 sales calls, right, and tell people 20 different prices and you get literally 20 different reactions. Or you could go on into 20 different people, tell them the same price point, and, you know, a percentage would go, that's far too expensive. A percentage would go, you need to raise your prices. And another percentage would be like, I'll have to think about it. Just see what I mean? So there's no magic number here, okay? Cool. That is pricing models for online coaching. I'll see you in the next video. Okay, welcome to your online coaching offer. Now, the reason this is an online coaching offer because it's different from your typical one-to-one. It's different from small groups. This is why we've segmented this whole section off, because online coaching is a different beast from personal training. So what I want you to do here is just go to file and make a copy. So you go up to file here, hit make a copy, make your own copy, save it as something you'll remember. Just your company name and coaching offer. Now, some of this stuff's going to be right on time for you. It's going to be amazing. Some of it's going to go over your head, and that's fine. This can take a couple of times to watch. The reality is, like, if you spend a bit of time building this up and spend time on it, then trust me, you will immediately rise above 99% of online coaches out there, because they do not do this stuff. Or if they do it once and they never revisit it, and they go into the big bad world and they just blend in with the crowd. So this is going to take a bit of work. The reason there's no video here, the reason there's no me in the shot or slides or anything, is because I need you to focus on it. We do the work now and you reap the benefits, to be honest. So the first step in launching online coaching offer is to define two things: who you help and how you help them. This worksheet walks you through the steps to clarify the information we need to put in your offer pillars together with the you. So you will work through the separate avatar and offer training. So currently, as I'm filming this, we've got a kind of separate avatar and offer training coming up. There's probably, by the time you watch this, it's available. I am, to be honest, going to be doing a little dive in your market anyway, because let's face it, we can never do it enough and coaches neglect it all the time. Plus, it changes every 6 months or so. You're just like, I've got an idea who I actually want to help now, because you go through a number of people, you start to realise you're 6 months older, your business is more mature, and you start to think, okay, actually, I prefer to helping this type of avatar now. And it's not a total 180 switch from person to person. It's actually just like the type of person that you want to help. You just get that bit of clarity on them, their attitude, what they want, their goals and things like that. So we're going to do a little bit of a revisit again here. This is more of a high level overview. Please make sure to make a copy of this document and add your information to it. So you're going to, like, ideally you watch this me on one tab, and in the other tab you have your offer sitting, so we can do this together. Like, don't just sit here not doing anything, do it together with me, and then you can watch it back. You can watch it just now listening to me, and then, in a couple of days revisit it again, watch it on 1.2 speed or 1.5 speed if you can still make my accent out, and then just fly through it again. I recommend going over this, and if you feel like you've had a slump but you watched this video like a couple of months back, watch it again. Trust me, like, I cannot stress this enough. We did well with the upgraded coach for a while, and things started to plateau a little bit, and I was like, what's happening here? Put everything apart. I just realised that we get caught up in the midst of talking to, like, I help personal trainers, online coaches and gym owners, but that doesn't mean to say that I can just say the same stuff to all of them. They're all at different stages, they've all got different triggers, and quite frankly, we can help different ones of them. We can't help all of them. We're going to cover a little bit about that today. So, offer creation, define who. We need to know who we're creating the offer for. This is who you help, known as your target market niche. Make sure to have the information from your avatar on another tab. So again, let's look at what we've got here. We've got 3 tabs open. You've got me, you've got a copy of this that you're making, file, make a copy, and the other copy can just be from your avatar that you've done before, right? Again, we're going to revisit it quickly. So I want you to fly through this. Like, what niche are you in? So, like, what niche are you actually in? So for me, we're in the fitness business niche, and we don't just help gym owners, or we don't just help online coaches. We help PTs, and we help online coaches. Now, who we don't help is like yoga instructors, boot camps. You know, we do help like boot camps that are kind of established but not brand new ones. Boot camps, yoga, Pilates, anything else you can sort of think of, spin studios and things like that. We don't help them, but we're in the fitness industry, fitness business space. But our niches are gym owners, personal trainers, online coaches. Now you might turn and say, "Oh, you know, I help mums." It's like, well, what kind of mums do you help? Like, what niche is that? Is it like new mums? Is it mums over 40? Is it mums over 30? Is it like some people help maternity mums, which I personally wouldn't help because they've not got as much money as you would like. So like what niche are you actually in? You've got to decide that. So if it's like young guys new to the gym and you take them from beginner to advanced, that type of thing. So what niche are you in? I want you to answer that. What specific problems do you solve for this niche? So just like honestly, just do 1 to all the way to 5 problems. That'd be amazing. So just think of the problems that you solve for those people. Really kind of, we can stay sort of stuff surface level here for now because we're going to get deeper. What are the goals of the niche that is facing this problem? So you help this niche, here's the problems, what goals do they have? Usually it's the opposite of their problems. So right down here, if you could do like 5 of each, that'd be good. Now, if you've been doing this a little while, then you should fire through this. If you don't know and you've not really got any clients yet, then you can just think of like think of you, like if you're helping people who are overweight, you know, overweight males or overweight females, say, whatever it is, maybe you're doing that because like that's what you were, that's the position you were in, you want to inspire other people. So if that's the case, like what problems did you have? And then, you know, you talk about the problems that you solve and what are the goals? Like what goals did you have? Was it to be like, to finally get back in control, to finally wear a tank top, to finally wear a bikini, whatever it might be. Okay, so if you don't know, then use yourself as the goal, as the goals. What are the consequences of facing this problem? Again, just like, you know, stick to like at least 5 answers here because this is going to be fuel for your content. It's going to be fuel for your service. By the way, if you complete this full document, like you're going to be able to build a service from it. Like, I don't think people realize that. Like every video you can go and film for your clients, the way you set up your check-ins, the way you set up your application forms is all going to be off the back of this document because this is why you do your business. Most people, coaches don't do all this because like they just start and say, I'll just help people. And it's like, what does that even mean? That will not get you past 10 clients. Okay, so what are the consequences of facing the problem that they're facing? And what have they tried to do to solve the problem in the past? So like certain dieting techniques, certain like supplements that they took. Maybe they tried like a personal trainer, maybe they tried group coaching, maybe they tried classes in a commercial gym. Like what sort of stuff have they tried to solve this problem? What is their current situation? Like where are they at right now? And what is their desired situation? Where do they want to be? You know, you can think here about like work, life, physique. You can think about confidence. You can think about their schedule, their routine. You know, like how do they spend their days and weeks, that type of thing. What do they truly want in their heart of hearts? And this is where you kind of wrap all this up and go like, what do they actually want? Okay. Now, if you're struggling again with all of this, like if you've got a really good client that you like and you trust and stuff, I would get them to fill this in with you. You know, some people don't have that, but like if you've got someone you've had for a number of years and you want them to answer it like before they joined you or just when they started with you, not when they're in their after state of like amazing results and stuff. That'd be gold if you could get them to fill this in. Now, further down the line, you'd want to do market research because it's like you can give them questions like this in market research and, you know, exchange of like, you know, whoever gives you the market research, you do randomise it and you give someone, you know, 50 quid, 100 quid, 200 quid, whatever it is. But I'll tell you something right now, the thing that changed the game for me to build the whole MRR machine was market research. So what do they truly want? What do they believe? Like, what do they believe? You know, particularly here, what do they believe about fitness? What do they believe about the gym? What do they believe about eating healthy? Like, what do they actually think about it, right? And what do they think? So, like, what are they thinking right now when it comes to health and fitness and personal training? what do you know to be true about the lice that you can use in your messaging? So for me with personal trainers, like I know they don't plan their days. I know they don't plan sessions with their clients. They try and they kind of think about it, and really, really busy one-to-one PTs. Just go out there back to back, man. They try their best to plan sessions and stuff, but a lot of the time they wing it, right? I know that they don't practice what they preach. Whether that's different things like eating, whether that's like actual training, that type of thing. They don't practice what they preach. So I want you to know, like what do you know to be true about the lice you can use in your messaging? And by the way, if you're coaching clients, like because it's in your check-in form, okay? And we want to get this right so we can use it in our messaging. Step 2 is defining the outcome. So the outcome you promise may be the desired situation or fixing one or more problems contributing to it. So answer the following. What is the big promise you intend to keep? Like, what's the big bold claim? Now, this takes time to think about, right? But, like, really what you've got to do is pick apart this part here, like the actual problems they face. Now, so many people are, like, on their Instagram bio, like, I help women break free from the yo-yo dieting and finally, feel in love with their journey without giving things up, that type of thing. But, like, what's the actual struggle here? What's the big promise? So for us, it's like we'll 2x your MRR. Why? Because, like, the reason that, you're you don't feel confident in your business and stuff is because you don't have predictable, stable income. So the big problem that you've got is that unpredictable earnings, and we're like, well, that's why we focus on MRR. So we picked the big problem of uncertainty for growing your fitness business, and the big promise is to 2x your MRR. That's the claim. Now, what's yours? Now, again, we're going to brainstorm this even more, right? But how can you make this more tangible, like maybe numbers based? So we could talk about like dropping 15 pounds in the first 90 days. It could be a certain weight, like in terms of like weight lifted, if you specialize in certain like muscle building stuff. So how can you make it more tangible? Where will someone be after you solve their problem? Where will they be? So for me, it's like financially secure, able to make life moves. And how will they feel? Like stable, happy, willing to keep pushing, that type of thing. So that could be like for me. And you should fly through these, right? If you don't, then like just ask, think about your ideal client and just answer them on their behalf or get them to help you. I would do both, to be honest. Where will someone be after you solve the problem? How will they feel once they have this outcome? What is the end state they will be in after working with you? What will this mean to them? What doors does it open for them? So like it could be like promotion for certain people who are just underconfident and they don't want to speak up inside their work and things like that. They could actually get confident, sort their routine, sort their schedule so that they actually show up to work with energy and just lead with conviction and lead a team and get considered for the next promotion, which in turn can get them more income, more stability in their family. And why is this income important to them? It might be something to do with their kids. Maybe they want to be an inspiration for their kids. What unconscious drives does the outcome accomplish? Like, what's the unconscious drives that the outcome accomplishes? So this might be like, obviously, if you think about like the way that people conduct their everyday life, try to lose fat, and they stay kind of surface level with their stomach, and they grab their bits of fat and say, I just want rid of these love handles and things. But the unconscious driver really is that they want to find a partner. They want to find someone who finds them attractive. They want to be able to wear certain gym clothes. They want to be able to put themselves out there to the point that they start taking pictures, going on nights out, and unconsciously what they're actually trying to do is find someone who finds them attractive, and that they can start to date people, whatever that might be. Now that really depends on what you're selling as well. If it's confidence, if it's like people who are a certain age bracket. And how does this outcome move them closer to their desired situation? What will their next desired state be once the first one is achieved? Now I know this feels like a lot of questions, but like honestly, it's going to be worth it because you're answering these questions, right? And it will feel hard, but like see subconsciously, like when you go and talk in DMs and stuff and create content, this will all be at the very front of your mind. And honestly, watch the way you talk. You'll just speak so much more fluently. I know it feels like a bit like a test right now, but it's for good reason. Step 3 is defining the time frame. Your time frame can be set over a certain number of days. So we kind of covered this in pricing in terms of like how to price it up. But realistically, what you want to price, the reason we price it and set a certain time frame because it takes at least that time frame. So what is a realistic time frame for you to achieve the outcome that you desire, that you give your clients? What's the realistic time frame? Now we want this to be at least 90 days, but obviously we can look at like internally in your program having like processes that are 12 months long as well. Really, we call this the roadmap. But what's a realistic time frame for them to achieve that goal? And why does it take that long? So like, ours takes quite long in terms of the offer we have right now. So like we can 2x your MRR in 6 months. But the reason it takes that long is because like a lot of coaches, they don't have a lot of time available, or they do, but they have a lot of issues posting content. They struggle to keep clients. So it's not like we can just go all in on just 2x your MRR, because we need to shut the back door as well and teach you how to retain people and stuff like that. So yeah, we would like to stretch this even further, but right now that's as long as it's taken until we can get the skills up for coaches. It probably takes a bit shorter than that now, and it will by the time you might be getting round to this video. It's probably even shorter. But why does it take that long? And how could you make this time frame shorter? This is an interesting one, because it's like in today's world, we now moan when like an Uber takes a bit longer than we expect, and we've even got to the point now where we track our Uber, we track our takeaways, we can track everything, and like a lot of the times it's like as soon as it's a couple of minutes more than it normally is, we're spoiled, man, and we can actually feel it. So the world is all about convenience now, and it's the same with when someone pays for something in your service, they want an outcome fast. Now we know that fitness takes a long time, and it's not just a quick fix, but they still should expect results. And I just want you to obsess over like how can we actually move the boat faster here. And once we go into methodology, you'll see why it takes so long, okay? And it's usually because you've got far too much stuff, or you're doing too much, and you're not sticking to the actual things that move the needle for the client. So step 4 is establish methodology. Answer the following: what steps and instructions need to be followed for the outcome to be achieved? So like I need you to really think about this. Like if they only did these 4, 5, maybe max 6 things, like what steps would they take to get the result? And what you're probably going to do is, they need to log their nutrition, they need to do this, they need to do that, and you're probably going to like there's a big difference between need to and nice to have. Now I'm guilty of this because we have a lot of stuff inside all of our programs, and we have a lot of nice to haves, and they're great, they'll look good and stuff like that, but this has to be the focal point. They need to do this, right? Now, this will actually make up like probably like 40% of your program. The rest of this, honestly, the nice to haves is like 60%, but I would go as far as like classing it as noise. It's just noise, right? So I want you to think about the steps that your clients would take to get that result. So another example is like if the two of you were trapped in a room and you couldn't leave there, until you got them that result that you promised, the result that you put in your Instagram bio and all your landing pages and stuff. Like, what are the steps if you could only use 6? And I guarantee you'll be able to fit all of them into 6. And it's almost like, well, if you can fit them in, like why are we focusing on a lot of this stuff? Okay. So what are the core components of your product? Right? Think about that. Like, what are the core components? It's probably going to be in some way about nutrition, mindset, training, exercise. It's probably going to be something to do with like routine, and habits. Like honestly, like if you pick the strongest tactic and strategy from each of these, that probably makes up your steps and instructions. Okay, in case you're needing the guidance. How do these core components help achieve the outcome? So like why, like nutrition, it's like, well, maybe one of your steps is like we get you to complete the nutrition audit so that we can build you a completely bespoke nutrition approach to your life, your work schedule, your likes and dislikes with food, your past history. Okay, that's a solid step. And you might write why that component helps achieve the outcome. So list what needs to be done in full detail to achieve this outcome. Okay, and what are the most important items on the list? I want you to look at this list and tell me in order what the most important are, what the least important, and can the least important items be removed while still achieving the outcome? If the answer's no, cool, you have the right stuff. If the answer's yes, now you need to take stuff out. Okay, if the answer's yes, you need to take away from your program. Or at the very least, don't make it available until after 90 days. Because what's happening is showering people with all this stuff that's just a nice to have, and then you're struggling to keep them on after 90 days because they're overwhelmed. I saw an amazing stat. It was actually quite scary. Like, you know, 3% of online courses are successful, and you know the number one reason people leave and quit them, it's not like undervalue, it's not like support, it's nothing like that. It's actually overwhelm. That's the number one reason they quit, because they're overwhelmed with what gets in front of them. So you need to think about that. Now redo your list, but make each step simple, no more than 6 to 9 words. Okay, and can it be understood by a 10-year-old? Make it even more simple. The reason I'm telling you to do all this, right, because it's all relating to sales and selling. Because when you go to speak to people on your sales calls and stuff, and if you don't explain the process in absolute layman's terms like this, like a 10-year-old, you're going to lose the people, you're going to lose the sales. And I'll tell you, like, when you don't do all of this, what happens is you end up going on the call and saying, yeah, you basically get trainerized and you true coach, and you get your own app, and you know, I'll set your calories on MyFitnessPal, and then you'll do a tracker every week and a check-in form every week where you'll give me your weight and your steps, and it's like, come on, man, like, that's the same as 99% of coaches. So you have to think about all this stuff, otherwise you will not make sales, because you'll just sound the same as everybody else. Okay. Step 5, create factors of value. So factors of value, explaining why your methodology works and why you should be the person to execute it or help them execute on it. Next, you need to list every obstacle, objection or problem associated with each item and your methodology that the prospect might have. Anyone can present a methodology to a prospect. What's important is for the prospect to believe the methodology works, and they'll only believe it works if they don't associate any major obstacles with it, right? You need to predict what problems, obstacles or objections will be associated with the terms in your methodology and create value by explaining how you solve these problems. Overcome these obstacles or render these objections obsolete. Now, let's think about the strategy. Now, obviously, we do this with, like, you know, when someone's like, oh, I'd love to sign up to PT with you, and you're like, oh, yeah, I don't work out at a gym, it's online coaching only, and they're just like, oh, I need a PT. That's an objection that you need to handle, and we'll cover it in another training, but the objections you also get are about your strategies. So you might say track calories to we're going to get you to track calories to learn about the best foods for you and your goals. You might think that sounds good, but in their head, somebody's thinking this: I don't want to track my food. I don't want my friends and family to think I'm weird. Do I have to use Tupperware dishes? Do you see what I mean? I'm too busy as it is. Like, how am I going to actually start using apps to track food and get scales out in my workplace and all that kind of thing? And I don't want to become obsessed. Now, we know all this is just like excuses and things like that, but this is what your prospects think. So, you know, for me, it's like when you join, you complete a business audit, and we'll have a look at the insides of your business. And one of the objections to that is, I don't want you to see what I charge people, and I'm scared because, like, I'm charging my cousin only £65, and I didn't want you to know. Do you see what I mean? So, like, there actual is like objections to this, but you need to predict them. And see, when you do this before the prospect does, like, it's the power of persuasion. You're gonna sign them up, okay? And, you know, to create factors of value, all you do is invert these problems. So, like, if you say, like, track calories to learn more the best foods for your goals, and to overcome this, I don't want to track my food. It's like, we'll show you on your one-to-one call how to set up our food tracking system that takes 1 hour per week to update. Think about that. Like, we'll show you on your one-to-one call how to set up your food tracking system. It takes 1 hour a week to prep. Like, that's very doable. You know, let's see, track calories to learn about the best foods for you and your goals. We'll design your full day of eating and training around your work schedule to show you an example of what a perfect day looks like to achieve your goals, from waking up to going to bed. Now, what we're doing here is like we're going against all of this. See this, like, oh, I'm too busy and stuff like that. No, it's like we're going to do it for you. And there's an element here of like, this is like done with you. This means, so like, we're, you're overcoming all these objections. Now, we're not going to babysit them the full time, but the idea is that your service, the factors of value, overcomes this. Because like, when people go on a call with a PT, they're already thinking about all the stuff you're going to make them do that they don't want to do, right? They've got a lot of objections with it. And, if you think you're going to get them to track your food, they'll go, oh my God, they're going to see what I eat in a day. Like, that's embarrassing. They're a PT and they're going to judge me and stuff like that. Whereas if you frame it in this way, trust me, this is how you'll get people over the line. This is factors of value. And then what's not a factor of value is saying, we get you to use MyFitnessPal and send me screenshots. Like, think about that for somebody who's got these objections and problems. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So this is how value is created. The outcome methodology important, but the factors of value make it feel real and possible. So now it's your turn. List the items in simple form in your methodology below. Right? Next, engineer solutions to these problems. So like, think of the stuff that you say above in your methodology and list problems to it. Okay? And then just invert the problems with solutions. Okay. Next, explain the solutions in simple terms again. This is literally how we built the Upgraded Coach and turned into a value powerhouse. This is it. We literally took the problems and turned them into solutions. That was it. And we fought against the objections. So for example, we do the CRM and it's like, oh, we're going to get to find out how much you're charging people, how you're tracking success for your clients, and coaches do not like it. But the way it is like, look, we're going to build a whole process where we can increase profits for your business just by changing some prices and just by monitoring clients closely, and it's going to get you 100% retention. Now that's how value is created, isn't it? Okay, so that's one of my methods, and that's us how we do it. So if there are problems or obstacles you feel you can't overcome but you know exist, it's time to learn and adapt your product. So if you're struggling and you're like, man, we've got these methods and we've got these problems to them, but we don't know how to actually solve them. Now, this is where you have to improve your coaching service, right? Obviously, you want to stay in your lane and don't take it too far. So, for example, like, we help coaches with paid ads. We help coaches with, recurring revenue, sales, a whole host of stuff, being a better coach. But like, what we aren't is like a marketing agency just to bring in sales and leads. Like, we do way more than that. And if we keep pushing that, then we're going to end up going down the route where we're not in our own lane. Now, you need to think about that as well, okay? So, like, if nutrition training and, like, exercise mindset's your thing, but you don't have to go down the route where you're like, oh my God, my client says they really struggle with mindset and, depression, and you're going to go, okay, wow, okay, I need to make sure I've got something in the service for that. You don't, okay? We're trying to create, like, value that suits your business and suits what you're aiming for. Okay, right, we're almost done here. Let's go to risk reversal and safety net. So now we must reverse the risk. The less risky someone sees your offer, the more confidence it will inspire. So offers that have extreme risk reduction are seen as favourable by the market. People want to know if they work with you, they won't be worse off than where that when they started. Risk reversal allows us to do this. We must create a safety net. So answer the following. Do you guarantee that if someone follows your methods, they will achieve the outcome? If not, why not? There are probably further factors of value that you need to create. You need to get the outcome that you said. Do not sit there and put something in your Instagram bio about dropping 20 pounds in 30 days or 60 days or 90 days and you don't, like, if we took it to court, how many people you actually done that by? Like, this is where people don't understand that like, we aren't adjudicated at all. No one comes in and goes, the client gets the blame all the time. So you have to put pressure on yourself as a business owner to get this result. You can't just say, oh, but they never checked in and things like that, okay? Because if you hold yourself to this standard, you are going to stand out, man, and you're going to build a really successful business. Okay, so we want to build a guarantee. Right, let me ask you this. Will you offer a refund if you don't hit the goal for the client? Are you willing to go into the red if it doesn't work? What could you give them as an apology if it doesn't work? Could it be money back? Are you willing to work on a performance basis? Maybe not. You don't have to, by the way. I'm just asking these questions here for you really to get you to think. How are you aligning the incentives? Like if you say, if you join our program and you check in every week for 12 weeks, we're going to give you 20% of your payment back. and that's like a performance incentive. Okay, because by the way, if someone checks in for 12 weeks in a row, they are going to get an amazing result, aren't they? Let's be real. So that's a really good incentive. You know, maybe you have a lower tier online coaching program, or you have a shorter thing to get people in, and like running it as ads or whatever. And you say, okay, cool. Like if for this 6-week challenge, you check in every single week and you update your nutrition, we're going to give you 25% back, or half the amount back, in exchange of making sure we can capture a case study at the end of it. Okay. So the stronger the guarantee, the more likely the client will adhere to the methodology. Bold guarantees make customers way more likely to do what you tell them. If you're worried about offering risk reversal, just realise it's a math thing. Maybe you have to refund 2 out of 10 customers, but if having the guarantee meant you could sign them in the first place, it's worthwhile. Now, we don't want to refund people money, obviously, but like, look, if you're struggling to sell people and you've just got this basic offer of, oh, I'll help you and I'll get you there, and you just aren't signing people up, if your guarantee's that strong, it gets people over the line. And you know, let's say you sign up 4 people a month and you get a better guarantee and you sign up 12 people, 3 times the amount, then you definitely take even a third of them. You wouldn't want that, right? But even 2, 3, 4 people asking for a refund or whatever, or didn't make the guarantee, it's not ideal that, but I'm trying to get the point across that like you wouldn't even have had them in the first place, and it's just a maths thing, okay? So what is your guarantee? I want you to write it here. Tell me your guarantee. What do you do for people in 90 days? What do you do with their nutrition, their training, their life? Now I want you to, obviously, by the way, you can just pause this and like think about it, right? I know that I'm going quite fast. I just don't want the video to be too long, but you can watch it in your own time back again. So step 7 is polarize, right? Now this isn't a massive one, but like now we want to exclude certain members of your niche you can't help. Excluding or disqualifying people makes people who are included and qualified feel even more so. So who can't you help? Who is the outcome not for? So like, you know, think of social media posts, it's like why I don't help guys, or why I don't help women over 30. And really it sounds polarizing, but it's like, it's so that people go, oh, I'm under 30, she could help me, right? For me, it's like we don't help brand new boot camps, or we don't help, you know, yoga instructors, Pilates, stuff like that. Quite simply because we don't want to. And by telling people that, it means that whoever falls in the category of we do help, they put their hand up, basically, subconsciously. And what mindset would someone need for you to not work with them? This is a really cool question because, like, honestly, like, I mentioned it before, but we help personal trainers, online coaches, and it's like, what does that even mean? It's like, well, we help personal trainers who want to work hard. Any personal trainer or online coach, gym owner who doesn't want to put the work in, that's the mindset that we do not want to work with. That's it. That's an example. Okay, step 8, ultimatum. So next, list out the best and worst case scenario for someone taking you up on the offer. We want to set a contrast between the upside and the downside, recognizing that there's infinite upside, and very little downside. This creates more value. So best case, right? Let me give you an example. You can either lose 10 pounds in the next 60 days, lift 2 times your body weight, with deadlifts, squats, bench press, maybe not bench press, deadlifts and squats. Finally, be back to your all of this guaranteed, or you can spend money not see any results, and we'll refund you all of the money and coach you until you get the results above. That's an example. So like, this is really good frame when you speak to people, because like, say if they're on the fence and they're just taking forever and you just want to get them over the line and trigger them, it's like, look, obviously we spoke on the phone. You can either lose 10 pounds in the next 60 days, lift 2 times your body weight with deadlifts and squats. Now this is your problems that you're solving, remember, you're going to just put them in. Finally be back to your best. All of this guaranteed, you know, back to your best. This could be pre-baby, whatever. Or you can spend money. It's not meant to say Monday, sorry. You can spend money not see any results, and we'll refund you all of the money and coach you until you get the results above. Think about that as removing the risk. Okay, so I want you to create your own best case scenario. Step 9, packaging, positioning, assumptions. So now it's time to reposition your product against the assumptions of the market. Think, people don't buy chocolate bars, they buy a gateway to temporary bliss. You can tell I'm dieting. Example, most coaches, I'm selling a diet and workout plan. Others, I'm selling a new, easily followed lifestyle that will guarantee you lose 30 pounds in 6 months. That's the difference here, okay? Now, you might not be about guaranteeing weight loss and stuff, so just put your goal in there that you promise people. Okay, answer the following. If you brought it back to bare bones, what are you actually selling? So like, I mentioned MRR and 10 pillars and everything else. So what am I actually selling? Well, I'm selling fitness business coaching. That's what I'm selling. The above answer likely positions you in the same way as everyone else, doesn't it? So like, there's many fitness business coaches out there. But how do you make this sound sexy and in alignment with what they want in as few words as possible? So we are literally the only monthly recurring revenue agency in the industry. Why? Because we're the only ones that take retention and sales together as one that seriously. Think about that. Fitness business coaching's everywhere, but we're literally the only ones that focus on monthly recurring revenue. And the reason we focus on monthly recurring revenue is because all our clients really want, when all is said and done, is stability, safety, and predictability. So now you need to pick yours. Step 10, pricing. So just see the pricing training that's already in the trainings. Step 11, this is where it gets exciting, and this is it. Okay, so you're going to put all of that together and you're going to make your pitch. Think of this as like your elevator pitch. You've only got, 45 seconds to tell someone. So, who do you help? What's your promise? What's your strategy? What's your guarantee? If you work with us, you either do this or you can do that. And I want you to think of it as this. Think of it as we're the only monthly recurring revenue agency. Okay? Now, I'm probably going to pop a link to my funnel where I basically the full page is all about my offer, right? And you can take inspiration from it. So the last bit here is just a task that I'd love for you to do. Film yourself going through this, like this pitch here, right? And it might take you about 10 minutes, but the more you say it, not only will you believe it, but you'll close 10 times more sales and your DMs will be 10 times more successful, right? Now, this was a 36-minute training, but like, trust me, if you do this, you will be successful. Please just do it. Please go through with it. Because the ones who don't will just literally keep saying the same shit as everyone else, okay? So probably going to take a couple of times watching this, a couple of sessions with a monster and a coffee, get to town on it, and I'm excited to hear how it goes. Okay, online coaching is hybrid with a big capital IS here. Okay, so I want to run through the 10 commandments of online coaching, online/hybrid coaching. Now, you'll see in all these videos with online and stuff like that, online coaching is what it is. But I do feel that for those who are building up online coaching, I think if you follow these 10 commandments, you can get to a place where you're truly online and there isn't any element of hybrid. Personally, just me, this is my opinion, I think you should always include some variation of hybrid. Now, I've put quotation little thingies around here because it's like, what does hybrid even mean now? Some people call hybrid seeing somebody twice a month, once a week, once a month. Like, everybody's got different variations of it. But for me, I think this is the 10 commandments to make sure that, if you're switching to online and you're looking to grow your online coaching, I think you've just got to do this. There's a lot of common misconceptions with online coaching where people think that's it, I'll never see a client again and I can go and travel the world. And, if that's your prerogative, then you can go and do that. But like, in order to grow quicker, in order to get yourself in a place where you can be truly online, I think you've got to go through a few phases first. And that's just me. I think that's just what I've seen success with other coaches as well. So first things first, face-to-face interactions build stronger, more personal connections and therefore improve retention and lifetime value. So really simple, and we always want improved retention. If you don't meet your client ever, then you're never going to build as strong a connection as you do with them in person. But the chances are you're building online coaching because you want to move off the gym floor, you want more freedom, you want to buy back your time, and you want to just travel the world, you want be at home with your kids, whatever it is. Like, so if we can't build the same interactions, like as we do in person, then we need to kind of foster that somehow. And that's where the hybrid approach comes in, because honestly, just by meeting your clients every couple of months, that's enough to top up that kind of relationship that you have, the connection that you have, especially if you build up to like one of the points that I've got later, which is really, really powerful. So let's face it, you cannot build as strong relationships online as you can in person. Now, you might be a seasoned online coach and think to yourself, well, no, that's not the case. I've got, a few clients and whatever. Yeah, but if you've ever been a PT, you will know that it's ridiculous, the connection that you build with your in-person clients. I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying that it, of course, improves retention. Of course, you end up being their best pal and stuff like that, which is the whole other topic in itself, right? But I just wanted to get that out there from the get-go. And I'm not saying you go away and do too much face-to-face. I'm not saying you go away and do personal training here, by the way, as the rest of the numbers will showcase this. So yearly calendar, build your yearly life and business plans around a hybrid approach. So let me show you this here. This is the Upgraded Coach calendar. Now, there's another version of this calendar, which is basically just personal life, where me and Cheryl actually look at the year ahead and we just plan in when we're going to Spain, when we're going to Dubai, any major birthdays that's happening, any weddings or whatever, and we just mirror this schedule here. So this is the one that I shared with you guys for you to see, and you'll see here the Spain event is down here. You'll see the top table events are all planned out for the year. The coaches check-ins every Monday, a training on's every Thursday, Elite Mastermind is on it's actually changed now. This has been added to, it's every second Thursday and the last Thursday of the month. And then we added in the M&R Stacker meetups, which is the green ones here. Now you'll notice that the Stacker meetups are in between the big events. Now the funny thing is here, me and Cheryl go to Spain a lot. We go all the time and spend periods of time there. We also go to Dubai sometimes as well. And the fact of the matter is, the Upgraded Coach is fully online. It's fully online business. We don't have to do any of this. But if you've been here long enough, you'll know that the M&R events are some of the best parts of the year, because we're able to go, have lunch together, sometimes a few drinks together, mastermind for the day, meet people, get to see people in person. And for a lot of online coaches, it's pretty lonely, so you don't get that connection with people. Some of you get to travel up for the day and you just learn a lot. So it's really, really powerful days. And the reason I'm showing you this is my life isn't compromised by seeing my clients in person. It doesn't, yes, it costs a bit of money arranging events and all that sort of stuff, but it's a small price to pay for the impact that it has. So if you think about it, the Upgraded Coach, the way we run it is basically a hybrid approach. Because if you look at it here, we had an event on January 12th, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks later, we had the Stacker meetup. Now that's a smaller event with limited numbers, but I'm still seeing 16 clients there. And then, fast forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, and we've got the next event. So I'm seeing most of my clients in that time frame. And over the course of a year, if you stack all of that up, I'm seeing them every other couple of months. But that is what I believe to be the reason that we've got such a good community against, other people in our space, is because we take the time to do this. I could sit in Spain the full time and not actually put any of these events on, but I don't want to. I want to be here. I want to have these events. I love them just as much as my clients love them. We love putting them on. They're powerful. And for all the other reasons that I'm going to show you is the reasons that we do it. And this is why I think you should consider it. Now, it might not look like this, as detailed as this, but it will definitely have a part of this. And we do this at the end of every year with you to plan your version of your calendar as well. But you can see here it's pretty powerful. We meet every week, a couple of times a week, virtually, and then every couple of months we meet in person. And I think that's one of the reasons we've excelled pretty well. Number 3 is the edge over the competition. Whilst the laptop coaches are in Bali in a different time zone, your offer trumps theirs by 10x. Now this kind of goes on. I'll just explain both of these at the same time. Number 4 is improved close rate. You're able to overcome the I need an in-person objection. Now the thing here is, if you have people who are like, oh no, I need a PT, I didn't know you were all online, you can be like, look, we actually meet up with our clients every sort of 6 to 8 weeks or every 6 to 12 weeks. It just depends. And we have workshops in person, we have meetups, we have, we go hikes. We have all these kind of fun events that we do that gets the community together, educates you and all that good stuff. So you can foster this community feel and you can put it into your offer which allows, like, if someone has a call, a prospect has a call with someone in Bali, you know, in a different time zone, just like trying to talk to them about signing up with them and, you know, the other side of the world or whatever, and then they have a call with you later and it's like, yeah, this is what we do, this is our response times, this is when we're, you know, most active, this is the events that we put on in Glasgow, or, you know, wherever you are in the world, you would say that. And think about that gives you the edge. Make no mistake about it. Like, you might be the coach watching this being like, I'm the Bali coach, and that's fair enough. You can do that. But at the end of the day, like, for those who aren't, like, my idea is that until you get to the Bali stage, then you can use it as your to beat your competition. You know, if you're in Bali and you want to go full time, you never want to come back to UK, that's fair enough. You have to then think of your advantages. But for me to get to Bali, if that's a big goal, and you need financial freedom, and to get there, I think you have to build a community that when you're over there, it builds and runs itself as well. Okay, so that's the edge over the competition. And when you have an edge over the competition in your offer, you're obviously going to improve your close rate. And you can cover objections like, I need in person. It's like, oh, by the way, I've actually got an event in 4 weeks' time. Like, we'll see you then, and we'll go over the deadlift and the hip thrust and all these types of things. Okay. And by the way, you don't have to commit to these events. Like, you can put a calendar out for the first 6 months of the year. You know, you don't have to start with 12 months. You don't have to put yourself under pressure. But eventually, as you build the systems that we teach you and stuff like that, you're going to get to a point where you're like, no, I'm pretty solid on that. Marketing content for the full quarter. So you plan your next launch video and film it at the events. So, like, we've got an event in 5 weeks' time. Like, you know, all I have to do at this event in 5 weeks' time is get a marketing plan together, a video together that I'm going to film for my next intake. And I'm going to use my clients being there as to contribute towards my marketing. So, like, if you're planning a launch and you've got a client event coming up, we script it, we plan it, we get a videographer, we get your clients involved in the launch video. And it's a belter of a launch video compared to, you know, someone just sitting there in their kitchen trying to, you know, do an intake. So it's huge, these events in hybrid approach, because you get to see your clients. Which takes me to the next point, social proof. Like, you're able to get a high quality social proof at in-person group days that blow other coaches' half-arsed testimonials at the park. Now, these testimonials, like half-arsed Zoom testimonials where the quality is shocking, you can actually wait till your next big client event, get your videographer to film this, and then after lunch, literally film 6 or 7 really good videos, social proof. We put them on your landing page, we chop them up and put them on socials, we run them as ads. Like, think about that. And immediately that, you know, has that edge over the competition as well. Okay. Online coaches' social proof videos are terrible because they're like, they rely on the client to do it themselves and things like that, and it just looks messy. Cool. And then we move on to what to your roadmap. So, you know, your actual coaching roadmap over a, you know, 6 months, 12 months, you know, 2 year period of how you take them from, you know, just starting out all the way through to big events, progressing through it to advanced lifter and things like that. You can get a lot of your clients following a common goal. Photo shoots, hikes, marathons. You make a huge deal with it with branded clothing. This makes your community thrive, improves retention. So, you know, if it doesn't matter where you are in the world, like, if you make sure that you've got a plan to always come back and you know, inject more life into your community in person, you know, let's say you're like, right, okay, in March we're all going to do a photo shoot. Who's in? And it could be a photo shoot for some of them who maybe some want to do underwear shots, maybe some want to do gym shots. It doesn't matter as long as it suits the client and you're not forcing an agenda and they're happy with it and it fits your roadmap. Then you can do these big days. You know, even if you did 2 a year, one in the first part of the year and one in the end part of the year, that's going to make massive waves. And again, while that Bali PT is in, you know, Bali coach, I'm not against Bali, by the way, I'm just saying to you, as you watch this video, to earn the right to really go fully online. And a lot of people won't tell you this because they sell you the dream, but I just feel that the best coaches that I've seen have done this first and really built up a unique selling point in a community. And by doing a hybrid approach, you get all this stuff done. We make a massive deal of it. Number 8 is improved exercise confidence. So kind of coaching one here, but a full practical day of showing clients how to lift weights will accelerate the results and stop them from thinking about joining a PT. Really simple. Like, yeah, we can have a photo shoots and hikes and stuff like that, but hiring a gym for half a day, getting all your clients there, you know, coaching them through the main compounds that you typically program, happy days, they learn how to do it, you know, injects a bit of confidence in them so they don't even think about joining a one-to-one PT. Number 9, your sanity. Being glued to a laptop daily might seem like a good trade-off from being burnt out on the gym floor, but it's a shock. Honestly, going from like busy gym floor PT, you sometimes go, I'd love to just sit on my laptop, but it is a shock to the system. And having this hybrid approach keeps you fulfilled and your coaching skills sharp, plus actual human interaction. So there's a lot of online coaches struggling with that just now because they don't see anyone. They kind of sit there at their desk a lot, and they always get to a point where they lack a bit of fulfillment and wonder why they're doing this. At the end of the day, like most of us are like, we enjoy speaking to people, and if you're really intent on growing your business, you do kind of have to isolate yourself a little bit. But sometimes you've got to make sure that you get that human interaction so that you can thrive and continue to grow yourself as well and listen to people and things like that. So it really, really helps with your sanity to have this kind of hybrid approach. Now, you don't want to do it all the time because the reason you probably left the gym floor was for this. But I can't tell you like how valuable it is for our events to, go from 6 weeks hard push of business stuck in my office to then actually see all that hard work that I've just done come to fruition because it's all here at the event, and your leave was just the highest level of fulfillment you get all year. Other opportunities, so speaking opportunities and workplace seminars all position you as an expert. So like if you can get all this stuff across in your marketing, then you're going to get a chance to get more opportunities. So let's say you looked at your calendar, right, and you had some gaps. Let's say you had an event here and you're going to come back 2 weeks before. I'd be reaching out to clients and being like, guys, I'm going to be back. Like, by the way, I'm talking here as if you're going to be abroad and stuff like that. If you're going to be in your own home city online, that's fine, even better. But the idea is that if you can, have plans with your clients in place, and then any clients that have got a big workplace that you could go in and speak and, practice your public speaking, get better at these speaking opportunities and workplace seminars, then you can actually start to position yourself as an expert. And that authority will, of course, drive people towards you. It'll be good for your inspirational leader, and it'll, get people to sign up with you at the end of the day. So other opportunities if you have this hybrid approach. If you're unapproachable and never showcasing that you're here and you hate the country or whatever, then fine. But at the end of the day, you're going to miss out on some opportunities if you just showcase this stuff. And that's pretty much it. That's the theory behind online coaching is hybrid. I'd love for you to install all of this before you think about just leaving your hometown and going all in with just a couple of clients. I'd rather you kind of got all of this in place first, had the best of both worlds so that the community thrives. And then by all means, when you've got to a certain point and the brand has got enough social proof and it's got all the communities buzzing and stuff like that, then by all means you could do that. But this would be my advice, to approach online coaching as a hybrid approach. See you next video. Okay guys, welcome to Shift the PT Identity. Now I wanted to make this video because what we get a lot is personal trainers filling up their diary and realising that, okay, that's me, got enough one-to-one clients. I don't necessarily want to do group coaching, or maybe you've filled your group coaching diary as well and you just want to start the process of transitioning online. Now the quote here is like, what got you here won't get you there. And what I mean by that is like, we need to remove the things that got us to become the PT that's busy. And in order to become a really busy in-demand PT, you have to be that identity, obviously, for people to associate with you and go, right, okay, he or she is the go-to in that gym. I notice them, I see them all the time, I see their clients, looks amazing. But actually, like, what got you here won't get you there. And there's so many PTs who get really, really busy in their gym, build a lot of confidence quite rightly, and then go, why is this online coaching thing not working? And it's like, well, it's because you're doing all the things that fill your PT diary, and it's not the same things. It's not the same inputs that fill your online coaching diary. It's two separate things. Now, it's not two separate services, because the only difference should be that they don't see you in person in terms of like a coaching session. But out with that's all the same. But you've got to think about the market's perception of you. And I don't care if you change your name to online coach and you put it in your bio and all this sort of stuff. If you're well known in your area, which by the way is how you fill your online coaching diary, is just dominate your city. You don't have to be a worldwide online coach just yet. But we need to really, really think about like, okay, what got me here won't get me there. And I've got a couple of examples here, which is this. So what fills your PT diary? Great customer service, friendliness on the gym floor, making people leave that hour with you better than they came in, word of mouth, classes, walking the gym floor, trial sessions, conducting yourself and your sessions in a professional manner, and content telling people where you work. So really, really simple. Like, I have no doubt about it. Now, unless when you get these people to talk to you, you can't talk to people, then this won't work. But like, if you've got great customer service, and the reason I call it customer service and not like, speaking to people or communication, you just have to be nice and smile, especially as you walk the gym floor. And if you're the PT, because we know there's a lot of rubbish PTs out there, if you're that PT that smiles when you see members, you'll get clients. It's crazy because other PTs will walk past them, they'll be on their phones and, I'm waiting for my client and hope for that member doesn't ask me for help. And it's just like, it's a disaster. So this in a nutshell is what fills your PT diary. It's not fancy marketing and all that. It's like, there's a couple of marketing parts to it, but it's like you're in a postcode where there's only people in a 6 to 8 mile radius that can actually come and train with you. So yes, we can go online and find some of them, but at the end of the day, like this should fill your diary. Now, there's a couple of things between it where you might be in a really, really quiet gym where this can't be as prominent. Maybe classes are quiet. Maybe you're not doing classes. Maybe if you walk the gym floor, there's no one there. Then, of course, for independent and really, really quiet gyms, you're going to have to do more of the content stuff, of course. But generally speaking, for everybody in a commercial gym, this is enough, right? Even trial sessions, like if you're in a really, really quiet gym, you can speak to people online and get them to come to your gym and offer them trials and stuff like that. Okay, so all of this here equals you becoming the go-to PT. So most inquiries you get are for that, right? And it's a hard identity to shift. It's difficult because people, like you've spent the last couple of years marketing that you work in X gym, you help these people, all your videos and photos are with that gym in the background because that's what you should do to fill a diary. But then, of course, you want to build online. And it's very hard to shift that identity. So that's why I wanted to make this in its own video, because I could have just snuck this in with other stuff. But honestly, I think it's so important. And we get a lot of coaches beating their head against the wall going, why is no one inquiring online? They keep wanting PT. And it's like, it's because that's what you've been doing. That's what you're known for. Okay. So the facts, selling one-to-one is way easier than selling online. Retention is way better than online coaching retention. Why? Because what I've mentioned in previous videos is they build a much stronger connection with you in person. Selling one-to-one is way easier than selling online. If you just turn around and say to somebody like, yeah, that's your struggles, cool. Do you want to meet me in the gym that you're already a member of and you're already familiar with tomorrow at 10 o'clock? Yeah, okay. Do you know what to do? Like, see, after that class that I take, because you've emailed me about my classes that you love and you want to know about PT, do you want to hang back after the class and talk to me? That's 10 times more easier to sell than an online coach somewhere online, isn't it? Now, I know we're getting better at selling and we can absolutely sell online, but these are just facts, right? Selling is way easier in person than it is online. Retention's way easier. Word of mouth is way better for PT than online because of these things. Like, can you imagine someone saying, oh, by the way, I train with this guy, he's amazing, and then their friend says, oh, I'm really looking for somebody, like, what's it like? Yeah, so, like, he sends me my plans and I follow in the app and, he does me check-ins, feedback every week and stuff. It's a bit of a shit sell, isn't it? But now the client's bought in, right, because they've had way more than that. It's like Chinese whispers and they're selling it really badly. Whereas, quite honestly, like, if you're great as a PT, you've built a strong connection, they're probably going to go, yeah, she trains me twice a week. I love it. She gets me to do all these things. She gets me to lift weights and, do all these exciting things and stuff like that. And I feel amazing when I leave it. Like, can you see how word of mouth is just way better for PT than online, right? In most cases, by the way. Right? I know you might be an online coach right now, but we're trying to shift the PT identity here. Cool. So in the contrast to this stuff here, like, this is the things you can't use to get online clients. Like, great customer service can happen through like DMs and stuff like that, but I'd probably call that more like interacting over social media and stuff like that. I wouldn't quite call that customer service. To me, that's in person. Friendliness in the gym floor, we can't use that because we're not there. Making people leave that hour better than you come in. You can't really get that. The closest you can get to that is replying to their check-in or give them a really good voice note that's supportive. Okay, word of mouth, kind of. Like, you can get word of mouth, obviously. But I always feel with just people online, they're a bit different with sharing and referring people and stuff like that. It's kind of like a different journey for some people. You can absolutely do word of mouth, by the way, but it's not as powerful. Classes, you can't do them. They don't exist. Walking the gym floor doesn't exist. Trial sessions don't exist. Conducting yourself in your sessions in a professional manner, we don't do sessions. Content, telling people where you work. Now, the funny thing is, like, loads of PTs, when they try and move online and get more online clients, like they still try and do stuff like this. Or, you know, they might not actually walk the gym floor for online clients, but they still conduct all the same inputs and expect more. And they think just like changing their bio or whatever and launching an online product's enough. It's not enough, okay? So all the stuff you've done that's got you to the dance, what's got you here won't get you there. And I need you to know that, okay? So here's the mistakes I see from people that go like this to me. They go, okay, Chris, I'm full one-to-one. I need online clients now. Drum roll. And this is what they say. I'm now off on online coaching as I'm full one-to-one. Now, the sick emoji might be a bit dramatic, right? But it basically reeks of, I want more money. That's what it looks like. It's like, oh, okay, they're full one-to-one and they've started online coaching, and it's like, you're off on that now. And it's like you've basically told people that you're full and you want more money online. That's what it looks like to some people. Instead of actually, it's been amazing, our service is full, we're now able to pivot the business and we're now able to offer another branch of the business solving this exact same problem but completely remote. You see what I mean? The difference. So what do we need to do? Well, we need to build an online offer with a USP. We've already covered it in a previous training. So we need to build an online offer with a unique selling point, and we drum this hard to you, right? We don't sell online coaching. We sell a unique selling point. We make it an extension of your current service, right? Not this separate entity that's just got all these different apps and different check-in process and stuff, right? We make it a part of your tier system to transition people from one-to-one into that. So like if you've got someone paying you £300 and you want to charge £180 for online coaching, it's like if they try and leave because of affordability, it's a really good way to make sure it's in your tier system to be like, do you know what? Like, Laura, I've had you for, you know, we've been working together 12 months. You're actually really solid in the gym. You know, I think you obviously love and value the check-in feedback and the resources and the community. How about we transition you over to online coaching, give it a bash, see how you like it. You know, you'll still be part of everything that we've got here in the program, but you'll save, you know, £120 a month. And that's the difference. Can you see that? So like, we make it an extension and part of your tiers of your program. And we make the service actually good. Like so many people just like start online and think that just a Loom check-in is going to be enough. Like we need to really make sure it's ready and we've got that USP with it. Get testers. Like if you've got, you know, a couple of online clients or people who are thinking about leaving, or old clients who left because of affordability, reach out to them and say, hey, look, I'm launching this online program. I want you to check if it's any good. It's free. I'm going to give you it for a reduced price, or I'm going to give you it for free, just for 5 people to test it. I'll coach you for 4 weeks. Tell me what you think. In exchange of social proof, in exchange of your testimonial. Happy days. So we actually launch it with, look, I've got this new program. It's called X. It's an extension of our current one-to-one service. And we've had 5 people test it, and here's what they had to say. Boom. Then we launch your remote version of, like your version of your business, your brand, but the online version of it. Okay. And of course, we need to build more systems because these people aren't going to get access to you and answer their questions in the sessions and stuff like that. They're not going to know how to lift weights and things. So we need to build the systems and resources and education around the service. And I just want to say this, right? Like, make no mistake about it, right? Despite what all these business coaches out there say, like, there will be a tough time ahead. If you're a good one-to-one PT that's got in demand and got busy, you're going to get to a point where you're busy in person, you've joined the Upgraded Coach, you're trying to work on these trainings, you're trying to do some stuff, and you know you're getting pulled from pillar to post, but you're also trying to build your online program. And honestly, I've seen so many coaches fall here. They reduce their hours, they go and rent, the big plans of building this online program, and they lose a couple of clients, they can't handle the workload, and they go frantic and panic and take on more people in person. And then the road to burnout starts all over again. Okay, so I need you to know that this is going to be a testing time, but once you do shake that identity, it's going to be good for you. Okay, so you're full one-to-one, but you must build an online program in limited time. You just need to do the work. Okay, because once it's built, all we have to do, the work we have to do then is marketing it and getting people in and getting people results. So let's end this here. What fills your online service? Well, number 1, sales process and skills. Consistently marketing your offer, consistently. You're not going to see them doing the gym floor here, so you're going to have to virtually, over social media, tell them about the offer in emails. Telling loads of people about your offer, so you market your offer, and you need to tell hundreds of people, by the way, I've got this thing, it does this thing here. Would that be of interest to you? Getting results and making it clear it was all done online. So this is a key one here. Like, if you're getting results, make sure you tell people this was done with X program, which is our online version of a program. So people go, right, okay, and you've no idea how good this is for objection handling as well, because like this here, I'm just going to be saying it soon, but getting good at overcoming objections, you're going to get a lot more objections online than you are in person. But if someone's like, hey, I really like the sound of what you've got to offer, I just really feel I need a one-to-one PT, and it's like, well, you mentioned earlier that you love the results we get on the page. Did you know that the last 5 results that we've posted have all been on completely online? Oh, really? Yeah. And not just marketing your results for it, but it's also used to handle objections. It's going to be in your thank you page and stuff when people book a call, so that they don't think they need one-to-one. It's also you also need an incredible online onboarding experience, because remember, they're not going to meet you in the gym floor and say, hi, let's go. You need videos there, which we'll work on, obviously, your onboarding masterclass, but you need videos in there where they go, right, I'm in the right place here. This just feels right. I fully trust the investment I've made. So like I say, getting good at overcoming objections, you need to get good at that, because you're going to get hit with objections you've never experienced before as a one-to-one PT, of like, I don't think this will work for me, or because normally what you can do as a one-to-one PT is say, yeah, just pop in. And it's not as easy as that now, right? Building a great community, because you need people round about it for that togetherness feeling, which we're huge on in the Upgraded Coach. So pretty simple, build a great community. And you need to conduct yourself professionally online. Like, if you're online, every video that you put out there, I mean, you can be authentic, of course, right? But you still need to make sure that online service that you're providing is completely professional. It's like, right, okay, that's really worth the money. Because if I'm not going to see her in person, like, I feel a program's pretty premium, to be honest. And lastly, a bulletproof CRM. Really simple. Like, if you can bulletproof your CRM and be really in control with success metrics, make every client feel seen and heard. It doesn't matter if they don't see you in person, because you're on it with their full journey, tracking their weight, tracking their progress, tracking any markers for like them slipping into the red zone and things like that. So a bulletproof CRM is going to handle that. So that is it. That is shifting the PT identity. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought. It's going to take a bit of work to shift that identity, but once you do, think about it. If you've been PTing for 3, 4, 5 years, 6 years, and you try to start online coaching, like, you're new to that, but yet you kind of think it's the same. It's not. It just takes this stuff here, and then you'll get there. Okay, see you in the next video. Okay, welcome to this training where we discuss transitioning one-to-one clients to online. This is kind of also just moving fully online eventually. So if we can have like a 12 month timeline, probably around a 6 month timeline, where if we take these actions and steps, we should transition perfectly fine. Obviously, this doesn't apply to people who are just like literally starting online coaching. They want to go there from the get-go. This is more people who have been established in personal training. They have a bunch of clients and they're just like, right, okay, my time is up on the gym floor, or at the very least, I want to tilt the scales in terms of how many online clients I have versus personal training clients. So let's get stuck into it. There is a lot of stuff here to cover, but really, like, I want you to take notes and I want you to take action steps from it, because everybody's different. There is a lot of people who make the same mistake. And in these points here, I'm going to try and get you to not make these mistakes. Now, there is going to be such circumstances where you're just like, oh, yeah, but what would I say in that part? Now, everybody's different. Your circumstances are different. The way that you have set up your clients is different. So I'll give you a perfect example just very quickly. Is like, if you're a personal trainer who has had no online product, has just had personal training as the highest valuable part of your service, then you're going to have a harder time transitioning online. Now, if you're a personal trainer who has done the Upgraded Coach work, you have been, making all these improvements, and really, like, to the point where your online service shouldn't be much different from your one-to-one service, to the point, like, genuinely, the only difference is that they don't come in and see you for a time slot. They still get access to everything else. Now, on the other side of that, like, make no mistake about it, people definitely see more value in personal training than they do online until you show them the value. So it takes time to show them it. Let's face it, going in, paying for something, physically getting someone to take you around the gym, make you sweat, can't, like, to the untrained eye, like you can't swap that for like, yeah, I just send you emails and things like that. Now I know you do more than that, but that's what these people say and think. And the online space isn't old. Do you know what I mean? It's probably like 8 to 10 years old. Like it's not massively old. So people are still learning what it actually is. Okay. I mean, what you've got to think of is like how long it took people to understand what a PT was. It wasn't just some boot camp instructor with camouflage trousers on just shouting at you to run up a hill. Do you know what I mean? So like, and the PT game's been in it, but it's been publicly and kind of in the social media world for a good while now. We're certainly way more longer than the online. Okay, so what to have in place before you actually do it. Now, when I say before it, I mean like, just before you actually transition everybody online or you leave to go online, but like there's obviously different phases of this. So first things first is make sure your CRM is up to date. So your client relationship manager. So this is basically how, if you don't know what that is how you track your clients in your service. Everything from their start date to their expiry date, to their birthday, to the payment plan they're on, to how much they paid you at the start, how much they're going to be paying you after their initial agreement, how many sessions they do a month, what dieting phase they're going through, if it's like a gaining phase, improvement phase, diet phase, any notes from the weekly check-ins. Every single thing that you need to track for a client should be on this CRM. And if you start trying to, go fully online or transition people online, the business is a mess if you've not got an up-to-date CRM, and you're going to end up being stressed right out, okay? And that takes me on my next point. Like, make sure every in-person client is paying exceptionally well. Like, if you plan to go online, you need to make sure that personal training is of a high value, because if you can start to get online clients, then you understand that, okay, if people are willing to pay me, £200, £300 a month online, then why the hell am I in person, driving to the place, parking up, paying for fuel, training someone physically, and then leaving, and they still get all that stuff online then, why is it the same amount of money? So for example, £200 a month online coaching with no FaceTime is the same as one session a week personal training at 50 quid an hour, which I know a lot of you guys aren't charging. Okay, so you need to make sure that your in-person clients are paying you exceptionally well. And don't try to sign up online clients to cover the cracks in a shaky PT business model. So many people do this. They get to like 3K, they're working a lot of hours in person, and they're like, yeah, I need to start online coaching because I can't make any more money. It's like, no. Making 3K, working a lot of hours in the gym floor, I can tell straight away mathematically that your clients are on all different price points. You haven't done a price rise. When I ask you what your price point is, you tell me the highest paying client that you've recently done a price rise for. The rest are on a £27, £30, £32 or whatever. So you can't cover those cracks by just signing up online clients. It won't work. You'll end up even more stressed and overwhelmed. So online isn't the answer until this stuff's in place. Build your online coaching service to a decent standard. Now, of course, it's only going to be as decent as you can possibly do, but you want some testers and case studies to put through. So while you're on the gym floor, even if some clients are thinking about leaving, you give them some cheap online coaching or whatever, downsell them, or just get some testers from social media and just be like, hey, as you know, I'm fully booked in person right now, but I'm looking to test out the online branch of my business, and I'm looking for a few people to test it out at a discounted rate in exchange of a case study. And so many people miss this out. It's like they want to transition online, or they want to transition their clients from one-to-one to online. And the way to pitch it is quite simply just say, hey John, look, I know you're loving the sessions and stuff like that, mate, but as you know, part of my kind of bigger life goal is to really kind of be fully online, move abroad or travel a bit more and just not be tied down to the gym. So I just want you to know that obviously your goal right now is to build muscle. Your goal is to get to, a photo shoot or whatever. And I will coach you through that. But I just want you to know that if you look here, here's Paul and Martin and David. They all got the similar result that you're looking for, mate, and it was all online. So you can't just lie about that. So you have to make sure that you've actually got the proof to back it up. So transitioning clients from one-to-one to online is much easier when you actually just say, hey, look, these people did it in the background. They've been testing it. Okay. Post those case studies, making it abundantly clear it was done with your new service done entirely online. Again, people miss this, right? Now, when I say abundantly clear, guys, I mean abundantly clear. what some people do with this, right, is they post a transformation, then somewhere in the caption is, right, this was done by my online program. It's like a teeny caption. It's like somewhere in the middle of a big caption. Teens say, like, make it abundantly clear. Have a different colour. Have the text massive, so it was done through your online service. And I'm going to talk a bit about like not calling it online coaching, so that you can actually showcase that thing that's abundantly clear. You know, for us, like when we showcase Accelerator or Top Table or Elite, we make it clear what the actual service is. Okay. And then obviously I want you to watch the Shift in the PT Identity training as well, just so we can drum this home before you kind of look to transition people, because like I mentioned in that training, you're going to have to overcome people's perception of you thinking you're still a PT in order to be successful online. Next up is pitching it to one-to-one clients. Now, this is something that we can have a chat about in more detail, me and your coaches and stuff like that inside the groups, where you can just be like, hey guys, that's me transition a few clients. I'm going to transition these 5 clients. I've wrote this message. What do you think? Now, of course, I didn't want to just type a template message, because it's going to be different for everybody, because you're going to be doing it in stages, as I'll talk about in a minute. But one of the famous lines that I used that worked really, really well, especially transitioning all my clients from the gym floor to online coaching when we closed the gym, was like, look, do you trust me? Have I served you to this point? Perfect. Look, test it for 30 days, right? If it's not for you, we can have a chat. Now, at the end of the day, you're going to, like, when you're ready to go fully online, or you're at the very least, you're reducing your hours, and you're telling 5 clients that you won't be able to do those PT sessions anymore. Like, you just have to straight up say to them, look, if I've done you well so far, yes. Okay, so look, allow me to let you test it for 30 days. If you don't like it, we'll have another chat, okay? So we actually did this from one-to-one as well to group. So when I had one-to-one PT clients in Pure Gym, I said to them, like, look, I'm opening my own gym. It's going to be private. It's going to be brilliant. And they were still like, yeah, but I just want to train with you. And I was like, look, come to my gym, test it for 30 days. And if it's not for you, we can have a chat. AKA, we'll think about one-to-one, but we're not going to. And they loved it. Majority of them loved it, because it was like 1-to-3, 1-to-4. Do you know what I mean? It's not the end of the world. Plus, we weren't in a Pure Gym, and everybody was sound in the gym. So sending the message is obviously going to be a point where we wrap all of this stuff that I'm going to cover today, and you send that message to the certain people. Like I mentioned, it's kind of this, but it's going to be specific to your business, because there's a few other things at play here. There's so many variables. Like when you give them their notice period, like if you could say to someone, like, just like 30 days is good, but you've got to make sure that your clients just know your goals. Like, if you're building any kind of level of closeness with these clients, they should know your goals. They should know what you want to achieve. They should, maybe some of them even know how burnt out you are, right? And see if they know your goals, they're supportive of them, but they don't sign up, then they're not really, are they? And look, we can't expect them to. So we just have to think about that. We just have to think of, like, look, here's the 30-day notice period. Here's the message. Test it. If you like it, great. Now, on the flip side of that, not thinking about your business and actually thinking about the client, like, when do we know the client is actually ready? And the thing is, like, if the client heavily values sessions, like, they never use any of the stuff that you've been building in the back end, my goal would be to put them back through. So let's say, for example, you start building your online coaching program and you start giving the same service to one-to-one clients as you do online. And, have your education hub, you have all these calls and, all these types of things. You want to put your one-to-one PT clients back through the onboarding process. Now, what that does is it sets expectations for these old school one-to-one clients. And what they start to realize is, look, it's more than just sessions. And honestly, sometimes it's like, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and that's what it's like. Sometimes your one-to-one PT clients, all they want is time with you. They just don't get it, right? But you still have to try. You still have to make sure that you go back through the onboarding process. Now, how do you know when a client's ready? And it's like, well, have they got on a level of, like, autonomy? Are they autonomous with their training? Like, can they go in and, perform lifts correctly and properly? Now, this is where you have to be honest with yourself and go, like, look, can that client genuinely get to the result with this online program in the way that I've got it right now? And you have to be honest with yourself, man. You can't just take people's money. Do you know what I mean? You have to just look at it and go, right, is this the case? Now, let's say you've got a 6-month transition period where you're moving clients, you're reducing your one-to-one hours. You have to then make sure that anybody who's not autonomous is up to speed so that it makes sense and they can actually qualify. for online coaching. Because trust me, like, there's nothing worse than taking a one-to-one PT client that you've had for years and moving them online when they're just not ready to, and you're just trying to take money. I'm not saying you're trying to take money in a bad way. You're just trying to tell them there's an option here, and they kind of buy into it and they come with you. But it's just not the same for a lot of people, okay? So why they should transition, we really need to make this abundantly clear. Now, this is where a big factor here, right, is going to be price, and make no mistake about it. So, like, if you're priced at, £250 to £300 a month for your PT sessions, whatever you do, so you're maybe you're somewhere in the region of £250 to £300, right, let's say, and, your online coaching is going to be at least £150, ideally somewhere in the region of like £200, right? So the thing is, like, people are going to look at that and go, and by the way, I know you'll have some people on stupid amounts. I know you have people on 140 to like 240. I know some of you will. So, like, you have to think about this. Like, if you're trying to transition people to online coaching at 150, 200, look at the difference. And by the way, the key here, no time with you in person, right? So there's going to be some transitions you're going to have to do where it doesn't make sense financially for them, and it's going to be tough, right? Now, this is exactly why I'm telling you to update your CRM, because you should be able to identify this well ahead of time, months ahead of time, okay? So, like, this is the big problem with transition and not actually building a proper business before you go online, is it won't make sense. Now, actually, kind of, because we priced a group program, it very expensive, so we were like 250 to 300 for small group coaching, which is quite expensive. It made online coaching very difficult to transition. Yeah, they saved, like £100, but £100 or see you 8 times a month, like, it just wasn't enough for them. So we have to look at that, and we have to be realistic. Like, there is some people who just financially are just not going to transition, and you have to manage that, okay? Yeah, there's other people though that's like making it make sense. So there's people who are talking about, there's a mortgage coming up, they're going to start having kids, maybe they've just got a newborn, maybe they've got a new job further away. Like, you have to understand that, like, if that's the case, then online makes much more sense for them, because they save some money here, most of them. They've just had a newborn, so their schedule's really, really tight. They still want to be accountable to you and stuff like that. Their new job's further away, so their schedule's inconsistent and they can't really make those times anymore. So there's actually people that it really, really makes sense for. Okay, and there's also just people who are like advanced now. They don't need those sessions. They were just a nice to have. Okay, so like, you have to think about like who it makes sense for, because honestly, like, that's your first approach when we're transitioning people. You do it to the ones that make sense, and that way you can stack up the value for it. It's like, look, time's an issue. Money's been an issue recently. You're more advanced now. Do you see what I mean? So, like, that's the value that you have to stack. And of course, another reason why I said to go back through the onboarding process and things is, once you've made service upgrades, is like, once they go back over, they actually realise that, well, okay, there's a lot of value here that I didn't realise. I've just been coming to the sessions and leaving. Okay. So we stack the value in our favour of why they should transition. Okay, next one is a very, very important one that I really want you to focus on, is like managing expectations. So like, the first thing you need to think about here is they didn't sign up for that. So we had all of our, I would say all of them, it was about 80% of our gym members transition online. It was amazing. But the problem was that they just signed up because Cheryl was taking it online and they liked her and stuff like that, and they wanted to stay part of the Glasgow PT, but really they didn't sign up for that. It was a completely different service. So in my mind, I just want to manage your expectations with it, and I would go as far as saying is expect at least 50% to leave 6 months after the transition. So here's the picture, right? Somebody's been with you 2 years, we transition them to online coaching, and 6 months at least, 50% at least, honestly, I think I'm being generous, these people could probably leave, because it's not just me as a case study here, I've seen it time and time again, because they sign up, they like you, they want to be part of your thing, and they see you twice a week for 2 years, like, it's crazy. And all of a sudden it's all online, and it's kind of a buzz, do you know what I mean? They use your app, and they kind of like this wee feeling of like, do you know what, actually I'm not tied into time, and I like the challenge of having to do this myself. And then just over time, people just realise that it's not the same. And it's nothing to do with your service that you're going to lose these people. It's just to do with the fact that that's not what they signed up for in the first place. When you buy something or sign up to something, the goalposts get moved so much, you can't help but just continually question why you've bought this thing, because you never really opted in for it, did you? And it's strange that when you buy something and it changes completely, but yet you kind of question it. So you have to understand that, like, you know, if you keep them all after 6 months, amazing, I'm happy for you. I just want to manage your expectations, because I've seen it time and time again, because they just did not sign up for that, okay? So understanding retention rates, like, you have to think about that as well. And I mentioned this in the other video, is like, look, the retention rates that you experienced for clients in person, like 2 years plus, you know, I know some of you think your retention's great, but you're actually cheap. But anyway, people still stay for 2 years plus in your service. Some of you guys have probably had clients 4 or 5 years. It's crazy. But you need to understand your retention rate is going to plummet a little bit. So, like, you know, you want to be somewhere in the region of like 12 months for online coaching. But the reality is it could be somewhere in the region of 6 months until you get all the stuff that you need to be done, until you become all the stuff I'm going to mention, until you sharpen your skills as an online coach and an online business owner. Understand that the retention rates could drop 50% in terms of keeping them on, okay? And the reason for that is quite simple. Like, one-to-one is just so easy to build rapport and build connections with people. You know, personal training clients get you Christmas gifts and birthday cards and bring you coffees in. Online clients, they don't do any of that for you. There's an obvious reason why. Understanding selling and selling objections. Like, most of you brag when you're a personal trainer that, no, I don't have to do sales calls. They just come into my gym and sign me up. It's like, yeah, because they come into the gym and they promise sessions with you. Like, it's easy to sell. You know, the conversion rates when consultations in person are 90% plus. Whereas the conversion rates when sales calls and stuff online, because like I said at the very start, this is new. People still don't understand what it is. One-to-one client, one-to-one coaching is pretty simple. It's like, hey, we're going to be in this area. I'm going to take you around the gym. I'm going to train you, and we're going to get endorphins, right? So, like, selling is a lot tougher, and the objections that you get, you're going to get all the objections. I'm going to do a separate video on this, but the amount of objections you get versus personal training. So for personal training, the main objections you get is like, oh, do you know what? Like, I'm going to have to, I don't know if I could get that time, and are you able to do 7 a.m.? Really, there's just timing objections for diaries, for you to connect your diaries. That is it. Yes, of course, you get the odd pricing one as well, but it's so easy to show the value. So understand that you're coming up to getting unfamiliar objections that you're not used to if you've been a seasoned PT. So here's a key point. Don't transition them to online coaching, right? Transition them to another tier of the service, right? And this is the worst part. It's like PTs go, hey, I'm just to let you know, I'm going fully online. I want you to move to online coaching. And they're just like, what the hell is that? Right? Whereas if you're like, hey, I just want you to move to the branch of the service that is remote where I don't coach you in person. It's the same service, but amplified massively because I don't see you. Okay, so transition them to the, we're obviously building a USP in the upgraded coach here, something unique selling point. So you transition them to another part of the service, right? Not just some entire alien thing that they don't know. Next thing is make the transition to online coaching gradual. Don't rush into leaving personal training for online coaching. Instead, build your online business slowly while training clients in person. Start by signing 2 online clients for every 1 personal training client. You let go. This approach reduces the risk of financial instability and allows for a smoother transition. Okay. Here's the skills you need to be successful online. Confidence and certainty. Like, you're going to get to a point where you're trying out this new service and you're going to have to build confidence quick, because with the amount of objections you get online, that confidence is the thing that's going to carry these, like, people who are skeptical over the line. And certainty, just absolute certainty that your product does what it says. You know, if people say, oh, but I need a personal trainer, and you have to lead with certainty saying, no, you don't, because the last 20 transformations and the last 20 testimonials that I put up, not one of them have I met in person unless it's a community event. Okay, that's certainty you need. Get over your fear of systems. Systems are crucial in today's world. Having at least a handle on every system you use makes you act fast and execute. Being great at systems almost guarantees your success. Okay. Doubling down on client support. You can't rely on clients seeing clients in person, so your support system has to be great. You know, go back to the CRM here, like, that's your support system as well. So you have to double down on getting them results. Quite often what we can do with personal training is get people to show up, train them hard, their diet's average, but because we're training them and they're being accountable to coming, they can get some good results. And you can chat to them in those sessions. So you have to double down on that support and an online vantage point. Be a better communicator. So not seeing someone in person, you have to learn how to communicate better. Let me just dismiss this. Still getting the message across the way you would in person. So this is crucial. Like, there's so many people in this world who are terrible at communicating. Like, you should see the way they speak, the way they open messages to you in WhatsApp, the way they reply. It's disgusting, to be honest with you. So, like, you need to be a better communicator with these people. You need to ask better questions. You need to reply it in less reactive ways, especially as a PT. What happens with PTs is that they're so busy in person still while they're trying to build online. Their online clients get neglected, and then they reply to them reactively and stuff. So you need to be a better communicator. Find other ways to get your authentic personality out there and be more creative with your messaging. We're huge on this, okay? A few more to go. Use a hybrid model. So I've mentioned this in the hybrid. Online is hybrid training. But as you build your online business, you can see one-to-one clients twice or once per month. This can help you prove it can be done. So like if you're finding a few objections, people just be like, look, let's taper it down. Instead of seeing you once a week, I'll see you once a fortnight. Or instead of seeing you twice a week, I'll see you once a week. And that's just technically still personal training. But if we're tapering people down, you can even go as far as once a month, okay? Taper off personal training slowly. Aim to gradually reduce personal training hours as you increase your online client base. For example, if you're doing 30 personal training sessions a week, drop to 15 as you build your online roster. You can maintain income while reducing time spent on the gym floor. Focus on longevity and balance. I know you want to get rich tomorrow. I know you want to quit the gym floor, but rushing into full-time online coaching can be detrimental. Balance your in-person training with online coaching until you're ready for a full transition. Don't lose sight of the benefits of in-person interaction and learning on the gym floor. The personal connection and coaching skills you gain in person are valuable assets. Hammer it before going, right? Absolutely hammer it. Hammer your one-to-one clients to get results. Over-deliver. Make sure you're worthy of like a high fee so we can do the things I've mentioned. And lastly, changes in your marketing. Stop posting any content that ties you to training clients in a gym. Instead, share more of the value online clients get from the service. Look, to end here, you're going to have to step up. Raising your authority is huge when it comes to standing out in the online space. In a gym, you are competing against a handful of PTs. Now it's the whole online space. Okay, so here's the realistic approach to transitioning one-to-one clients to online. It's not selling you the dream for Dubai. It's telling you this is the stuff that I would have in place before you look to do it, so you can remain sane and you don't panic, you're not frantic, and you don't end up, posting stuff that these other business coaches teach you that's just desperate. Every single month there's a new thing, okay? See you in the next video. Okay, welcome to online coaching marketing. So there's a bit of theory here, to be honest. There's not going to be a massive amount of showing you stuff, delivering stuff and strategy. It's more so the whole outlook behind online coaching marketing, if you're quite new to it. If you've been doing it for sort of 12 months and you feel like you're banging your head against the wall, then this is crucial for you, because this is essentially what I believe to be the things that are essential for you to, to anchor down and go, okay, right, I've been like, let's say, for example, you've been a personal trainer, you got really busy, you transitioned online, it was good at the start, maybe during COVID, post-COVID, now you're kind of sitting here going, okay, now online coaching is pretty difficult. Why is that? And of course, there was a big shift post-COVID because the supply was low, demand was high, and then now supply is high, demand is lower than the supply. So that's why it's a lot more competitive. That's why maybe you went fully online under a different guise and you were kind of like, okay, right, this isn't what I thought it would be. Other situations is you might just be starting online coaching, you're just like, right, okay, let's get into this now. I've kind of built up my diary, or I just want to go straight online. So I need you to think about this stuff, and most of it's maybe serve as a reminder, or hopefully one or two light bulb moments. So the key differences between one-to-one and online coaching, and how to market online coaching effectively. So online coaching marketing requires much more testing and iteration than one-to-one coaching. So that's straight off the bat, like one-to-one coaching, to fill that, it's just, where do you work? How can I come see you? And what's the membership details? And what's the prices? That is really it. And when you're selling one-to-one, people don't really ask what they get, because if they're coming to see you, normally the general population just think, okay, cool, I'm about to get a personal trainer. That's the way a personal trainer's positioned right now in the market now, because online coaching's big, and it has been for the last 4 or 5 years. It's starting to change, especially with these kind of massive apps and things like that are people sign up to for celebrities and influencers and things. But at the same time, it's very, very obvious what you get with one-to-one personal training. So you don't have to test much. You don't have to do much. Yes, of course, you're still marketing and you're still testing things, but here it's like there's nowhere near the amount of testing and iteration required than is required for online coaching. Okay, so you have to think about, okay, when I'm pushing stuff online, it's all about testing and iteration, right? Don't get disheartened. Don't put something out there and go, that failed. Like, at the end of the day, with one-to-one, you barely had to do much. Maybe you done some flyers, maybe you chapped some doors, maybe you done, visited a workplace round about you and did a few talks or whatever. But online coaching requires testing and iteration. Now, it will all make sense what I mean by testing what, Chris? And it's not just content, it's your launches as well. Okay, so here's my advice here with online coaching: make sure you're launching new offers every 6 weeks to inject life into your offers, right? Now, the problem is with any kind of, probably the only downfall from a program being evergreen, so like MD can join at any time, is you lose that genuine scarcity and kind of urgency part about it. Now, if you're launching like a 6-week challenge, then you get that hit, don't you? If you're too reliant on that, then there's no recurring element to it. Now, it's kind of reoccurring because you might do it every quarter or whatever, but it's still not a good feeling to know that you have to keep launching, and before you know it, you do an intake, and then 2 weeks later you're back to launch mode, because launch mode can take anywhere from 21 days to 6 weeks. So it is a good thing, but to make your program more exciting, to make it marketable every sort of 6 weeks, then I would put a new different front cover on it. So you want to make sure you're launching something exciting every 6 weeks. And I'll tell you how to do that in a second, but I want you to get in that mentality with online coaching. It's like, when was the last time I made a song and dance about this program? Now, again, it's difficult because it's just a program. You're not going to change too much, and you don't have to change a single thing. It's just about launching something every 6 weeks. Next thing is building trust. It's more challenging, but it's crucial in online coaching. So there's a few more trainings in this whole online coaching best practice notes, is like how crucial it is to build trust, especially with your sales process. But you need to know straight off the bat that if you're not going to meet someone in person in a consultation to then train them in a gym, it's crucial that in your online coaching marketing you're building trust. It's a more important pillar, and we'll talk about how you can build trust. Avoid using online coaching in your marketing. Focus on your unique selling point. Now, we're big on this in the Upgraded Coach, obviously, and that's all we ever talk about is your unique selling point and how you can find that. So many people are struggling to sell online coaching because they literally keep calling it online coaching. It's like, stop calling it that. Your service offers solutions. Okay. Effective online coaching marketing requires a different mindset and approach compared to traditional coaching. So like I say, with all this sort of stuff, you have to look at it differently. You can't be on the fence of, yeah, that worked for me in person. It's like it's separate entirely. Okay. Now, of course, there's the fundamentals like social proof, getting results, referrals, whatever. But when it comes to online coaching marketing, you have to really know who you're helping. You have to get it in front of them, and you have to make a lot more of an effort to find these people than you would obviously physically being in front of you in a class or in the gym floor. So here's a little quote here. So online coaching is like fishing in an ocean with vast opportunities versus one-to-one coaching, which is like fishing in a pond, limited but more controllable. So pros and cons to each of these here. Like, online coaching is like fishing in an ocean, which means, if you cast a net in a big massive ocean, and the bigger net you cast it will have the bigger holes, which means you're less likely to catch people. But obviously you're trying to, and this obviously goes back to how important it is to have an avatar that you're pushing in a niche. But one-to-one coaching is like, yes, there's a ceiling to how much you can earn there, but it's a lot more easier to fish in that pond because you can find fish, and you're not gonna wait a lifetime for someone to come and for someone to bite. With online coaching, it's like, of course, there's hundreds more clients available there because you lift that ceiling of being tied down to time in your diary. But at the same time, like, it's going to require a lot more effort to find these people. So if sticking with the fish analogy, is like, right, if you're fishing in a large ocean, which is online coaching, not only is there a ton of other coaches fishing, but the ocean's bigger because it's online coaching. and it's the online world. And obviously, you know, if your page is not getting much followers, not getting much reach and things like that, it's even bigger. And, you know, there's some people out there with just bigger nets, far more on the hook for prospects to go towards. So I want you to really realise that, you know, some people get their one-to-one coaching diary filled and they're quite confident, which is great. But then they go into the online coaching world and they get a massive surprise, because it's like, yeah, you're and again, we go with the fish metaphor here, but it's like, you were a small fish in a big pond now. So it's like, now you need to really push through, and you need to get that unique selling point. You need to get your personality across. You need to keep pushing, and you need to work harder. So next points here is create a launch calendar with a new offering every 6 weeks, especially in line with the season. So a very easy, quick win with this is just quite simple. Like, you know, if you go do a launch in February, you do a launch in April, you do a launch in August, September, and that's it. That's the main ones where you're going to be doing a launch where you theme it in line with the seasons, but you're obviously going to theme it in line with other things as well. You know, like a new version of your program, updated version, the summer edition, the winter edition, all these types of things. Build a content strategy focused on establishing expertise and trust. So like mentioned before, like how much you have to put trust across. The expertise part, so for me it's MRR, and the trust part is getting people stable businesses and proving it. Okay, so your content strategy should be fueled on that when it comes to online, and making sure that you've got that expertise across and your trust. Refine your unique selling point and incorporate it into all marketing materials, right? So, you know, this isn't the training for talking about your unique selling point, but I just want to draw home the fact that your online coaching marketing has to show a unique selling point. Otherwise, it's quite simply just someone else online that I don't get to meet and I hardly trust is now trying to sell me something on something that I've failed at millions of times. Okay. And then, of course, you need to build a ridiculously good offer. It's pretty simple, pretty obvious. You know, and the online coaching best practices training is one of the first ones, is building a great online offer. And it's the same here with your marketing. Use lead magnets and aim for at least 20 leads a week. So this is a great KPI for online coaches, to make sure you're getting 20 leads per week. Because if you get 20 leads a week, you know, you have these conversations. If you can get sort of 10 of them on a call, or, you know, let's say even 5. If you can get 5 of them on a call, and if you can close 2 or 3 of them a week, you're in a very good place to get that sort of like 6, 7, 8 clients a month. Okay, but it has to start with leads, because, you know, if you're on the gym floor, you're walking about and there's leads in front of you. If you're doing a class with 15 people at it, there's 15 leads standing there. Let's say 10 are a fit and 10 you speak to, and then, you know, 4 you get in for, you know, a couple of sessions. So when you're an online coach, you have to be pushing out lead magnets to aim for 20 leads a week. 20 leads a week leads to the conversations. Okay. And of course, install the DM strategy and apply it daily. I can't stress this enough. Like, I want you to think of the DM strategy with online coaching as, okay, if I was a gym PT, would I walk about and say hi to people and, you know, build rapport with them? Of course you would. You have to be doing that. Like, the DM strategy is literally your virtual gym floor. So you have to be installing that daily, and you have to be using it. Okay. Now we talk about launches. So highly engaging, disruptive launch videos, like, it's the only way now. And you'll notice inside this program, we are very, very firm on telling you if your launch video is good or shit, right? Because it has to be good. It has to be disruptive. When I say disruptive, I mean disruptive on your feed. You know, it shouldn't be like any other video. It shouldn't be designed the same. It should still be on brand, but it should just be, wow, okay, what is that thing they've just done? It should be head turning if you want it to work. Plan ahead and don't wait until you lose clients. And this is huge, right, with online coaching, as they sit there and they're kind of comfortable and they get clients all set up. And then all of a sudden they wait 2 weeks and then it's like, oh no, I've lost 3 clients. And then they go in this mode. And this is where you see all these mentorships pushing this like frantic launches that coaches do. And they don't care that you drain your goodwill or keep launching. All they care is they get a message from you saying I signed 5 people up so they can screenshot it. Okay. Plan ahead with online coaching. Like, you've got more time in your hands. Look at the rest of the year. You know, it's like it's September I'm filming this, and it's like, how many more launches are you going to do? Let's do 2. Okay, cool. When and where? And what's going to happen? What's the difference between the 2? What's the offer? You need to plan ahead. A highly targeted and professional landing page and inquiry process. Now, we're going to cover a bit more of this in the online coaching sales process. But But like, I can't believe the amount of online coaches, right? They become online coaches, and if you click on the link in their bio, sometimes it doesn't even work. Sometimes they have just a jot form, but they haven't even paid for jot form. It's literally got the jot form branding on it, or it's a Google Doc questionnaire. It's like, you know, I said here, one of the biggest things you have to do is build trust, and it's way more challenging. And if you get a shitty document and you're getting people to fill in, then all of a sudden, if they do get through that document and book a call, they get on a call with you and you try and take £500, £600 off them. Like, you have to make sure that this landing page and inquiry process is highly targeted and professional towards the person that you want. But, you know, otherwise you're going to be fighting an uphill battle to try and get them to sign up to your online program, because trust is so low, they hardly know you. Okay. So this is the kind of key points to online coaching marketing that you have to follow. And, you know, make sure you make a copy of this, because like, this is going to serve you. This is kind of your blueprint to make sure that you know what's required to make sure that you keep doing the things that makes your online coaching life a whole lot easier, right? And this should hopefully serve as a wake-up call. So, you know, DM strategy, great offer, putting a new front cover on it every sort of 6 weeks, whether that's the 2.0 version of your program, whether it's the winter edition, it doesn't really matter. And remember, you're not changing any deliverables. You're just marketing this new thing, which is the same service, but just with a bit more intent, and it's actually speaking to the problems that they're facing right now in that time, as in your market is facing. Okay, cool. That's online coaching, marketing, the kind of, you know, mindset behind it and what you need to apply to make sure you can get successful with it. Hello, welcome to this training, your first 10 online clients. So we have a whole bunch of trainings, resources around actually the strategy of getting clients, you know, the marketing techniques, the pages you have to build. This is more just like, okay, gun in my head, Chris, what do I actually need to know to get these 10 clients? Because, you know, we've got a million strategies, and I don't want you to think this is the only strategies. At the same time, you have to realize that it's really, really simple. It's not easy to get 10 clients online, but it's really simple in terms of what you have to do, and how we can just get off the mark. You know, like, this is more suited to people who are just, you know, maybe you've got no online clients, maybe you've got 2, maybe you've got 3, a couple of them are on cheap price points. You know, some of these strategies I wouldn't fully advise if you've got stable income, you've got your one-to-one, and you're just sort of sitting there like, you know, kind of try to transition online, but you've got a good amount of in-person clients. And the reason I say that is because you might not need more stress. You'd rather anybody who signs up to you extra, you're better off collecting a good amount of money so that you can, it's worth your time basically. You might be really, really tight for time trying to juggle the current in-person stuff you've got with actually diversifying your income and moving slightly more online as you start to switch between the two. So the first things first is like the easiest way to get 10 online clients is just transitioning one-to-one clients to online. Like, it's really simple. There's a whole document and training on it, obviously, as part of the online coaching best practices. So you can go in there and watch that. But so I won't cover that here, obviously. Now, maybe you're watching this and you don't have any one-to-one clients. That's fine. So you just skip that part. Next is the case study. Now, I can't tell you how many times we've used this to just get people on board. Like, please don't overcomplicate it, right? Now, here's a simple message that you can send out. I'm starting a new case study group this month, and I'm looking for a few specific people. So if you're looking to take control of your nutrition and learn how to eat for your goals, are fed up of going to the gym and not seeing results, are unsure of how to exercise to suit your goals, are coachable and friendly, and can keep a secret, reply to this message, case study, and I'll be choosing people this week. And then just put your name in there. That's it. Okay. You want to send this to everyone on your list and post it on your channels. So your friends on Facebook, followers on Instagram, and even your contacts if you have to. Tell everyone in your class in the gym and on the gym floor. So basically, every single person that you can come in contact with. You know, if I take some scenarios here, maybe you're working on another job and you want a transition to be fully online, I'd always advise you to do gym floor work. But if you can't do that and you're not willing to do that, that's cool. Then you have people that can sign up to your program. Now, look, don't stress what you're going to say to them and what the offer is just now. Of course, you're going to go and watch online coaching, like creating an online coaching offer. So you'll have that down. We're not just going to take people from the streets here. But at the same time, you just need to get bums on seats on the new offer that you created. Okay? So tell everyone and anyone. The next idea is the 6-week challenge. Now, again, like I said, in the Upgraded Coach, we have a million tactics to actually get it, like the flywheel. 21-day sales challenge, all these things. This is more just like, right, it's only 10 you need. So like if you've got 5, you just need 5 more. If you've got 2, you need 8. If you've got none, then okay, we'll get 10. It doesn't matter how we get them. We just need results. We need momentum. We need people to coach, people to tag us, people to test our service, right? Do not stress about this. So launch your first online coaching challenge. So you can see it here, see the offer that we did. You're going to create that obviously and make it a shorter, more laser targeted version with clear outcomes and a short time frame. No deliverables have to change, just the front cover. So for example, you've got this 90-day program that you created as your online coaching offer. It's got all the pillars, amazing. All you have to do is a 6-week version of that. Now, you don't sell features, remember, you sell the benefits. You might say something like, okay, we have created a 6-week challenge version of our program. It's shorter, it's cheaper, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. It's designed to do X, Y, Z before the end of November. Who's want to find out more information? And just by doing that, you take away the big barrier of entry in terms of like, commitment time. You make it exciting and buzzy, and you just target it to your market right now as how they feel. Of course, this works really, really well in the summer. It works really well in February, ahead of like, New Year, me, new crowd, New Year, new me, sorry. And then the Christmas crew, getting ready for Christmas and stuff and Christmas parties. So, but you can do this at any time. I just wouldn't advise doing it maybe in the middle of August or whatever when people are off and the kids are off school and all that kind of stuff. But a 6-week challenge, if you've just built your online coaching offer and you're sitting there and you have no online clients, the 6-week version of that just takes away that barrier. It allows you to offer a split pay option and get bums on seats to test this service. Okay. Free coaching intake. Now, this might not be suitable for some of you, but like if you just want to test and get this service up and running, go for it. You can offer this to people you know in exchange for a testimonial, written or video, and before and after pictures, right? Keep it simple. 4 or 6 weeks of over-delivering to them and pushing them. Some people don't value free stuff, but you just need to sharpen your skills and prove your online service works, right? So you can say to a few people, look, it's completely free, but I need you to buy into it. So guys, you can also put up like a thing here where you're like, you need to be willing to complete a testimonial at the end. Be willing to fill in a form every week. Now that's basically just your check-in form. And you could create this little list and just make sure they know the standards from the get-go. Will every single one of them go through with it? Probably not. But if you can get 15 people on this and 10 go through with it, you've got potentially, and let's say 5 do well, testimonial at the end, and be willing to fill in every. So like, let's say you get to the very end and you get 5 people who get a decent result. That's 5 pictures, that's 5 testimonials that you never had in the first place. And it's only 46 weeks, right? Nice short phase, educate them, get them buzzing about the service, get them in a nice little community. Happy days. Like, what else are you doing, right? Collaborate with a micro-influencer client. So this could just be collaborating with any client, but it could be a client who's got some followers, right? So is there anyone you know who might have your ideal clients on the list? So it could be like hairdressers, beauticians, Botox and beauty. It could be barbers, football teams, workplaces, that type of thing. So like collaborating with these types of people can go a long way in, I don't know why that's annoying me. But yeah, like if you're obviously got male clients, then you can think about who in the micro-influencer space can kind of get you to collaborate. So you'd coach them for free, like here, same idea. And then in exchange, you would also have here, like you need to post me on your story like 3 times a week. You need to do a post and tag me. Look, is this going to, light your business on fire? No, but it's going to get you 10 clients. Absolutely. Right, now, to finish this part here, again, your first 10 online clients, guys, you might be coming to this training thinking, I'm going to get 10. Like, this is all you have to do, right? And, all of this stuff I've just said here, this is how to do it, right? Like, when it comes to online coaching, who can buy it? People online, right? So, like, you just have to tell them to buy it, right? There's no other way of looking at it, right? So let me tidy this up. So I want you to know this, right? If you have 500 followers, you only need 2% to give you a try. 2% is what you need. If you have 1,000 followers, 1% just need to give you a try. If you have 2,000 followers, 0.5% to give you a try. If you have 5,000 followers, you only need 0.2% of people to give you a try of your followers. Think about that. Now, like, if you're fortunate enough to have any more than that, congratulations, you're popular. But like, it gets lower and lower and lower. So like, if you think, okay, I only need 10 clients online just now, like if you've got 500 followers, then you only need 2% to give you a bash. So like, does that mean that you're going, like, if you message 200 of them, you only need 10 people out of that 200. That's not even 2%, obviously. That's just 2% of 500 for 10 people. Okay, so you need to drill that home. Like, look, you have a thing online, you have one of these offers, one of these things, you send it to them all. Like, can we find 2% of 500? And it gets more ridiculous as you go down, right? You might be thinking, Chris, you're oversimplifying this. It's because it is, right? It's simple. So I don't care if you have to coach them for free. I don't care if you have to speak to some micro influencers. I don't care if you have to message all of your followers here. Can 2% pick you up on a 3 thing, or can they just buy your online coaching service when you get them on a call? You don't have to give away the 3 thing. So for example, this, when they reply to this, the case study is just your service. Just your service. Okay? So that is how to get your first 10 online clients. You might be thinking, oh, but Chris, you haven't told me how to get. Yeah, I have. This is it. Right? This is it. Because all of this stuff here is related to the people who you can sell to who are online. Okay? Cool. So that is your first 10 online clients. Go and do that. You'll get your first 10. And I'll see you in the next video. Okay, welcome to online coaching sales process. So this is like kind of our sales process in terms of like the pages that we take our prospects through, and maybe you've been through them at some point. You don't have to have these pages as polished and dialed in as we do, but like that is probably the goal. Like, why not have that as the goal? To be fully on brand, have them, really building a lot of trust, really professional, and taking them through this full process. Now, don't get me wrong, B2B, business to business, does require a lot more trust building. It does require people to make decisions on, like, take their time to make decisions, to process it all, to get all the information, because you're a business owner. And then B2C, what you do, business to consumer or business to customer, people they react a bit more, they buy a bit more on reactions, they buy on, being triggered, they buy on emotion a lot more. They don't really think at times before they kind of just sign up to a thing, as you know from most of your prospects having gone through a whole host of ridiculous diet methods. But anyway, so like this whole process, like, don't stress that you don't have it all. I want you just to make your version of it. I do have an extra step in here, which is the trust building page. Now, I would definitely recommend it. Now, this is straight from the Dream Client Funnel, which is in the MRR system. There's a template. It's what we have created for you to kind of replicate and make it your own. Now, the difference between a Dream Client Funnel and any other funnel is that we kind of take away the sales call. So what we try and advise them to do is, like, look, by the way, there's no sales call here. Now, the reason we do this is because you, our market, are a lot more skeptical. You've possibly been stung in the past. You don't really want to get on a call to be sold to because you think that's what's going to happen. So the way we've done it is, it's like, look, we don't get you just on a sales call. Like, fill in this form and we'll be in touch. Now, you don't have to do this exact same way as us, because your market might not be like that. They don't really know what sales calls are, I don't think, as much as B2B do. So you don't have to do this process. So just remember that as I go through and show you. So first things first is there's the main landing page here, right? Now, if I click on this and open it, this is what it looks like. So you can see here straight away, and we're testing this offer, split testing this just now, which basically just means we have this up, we have something else up, and we're just seeing what gets clicks, okay? So in this video, it's really kind of well put together professional video where I'm explaining the process. I'm coming up with all the key struggles that you guys face and the Upgraded Coach's solution to those struggles, okay? And there's obviously 2 cameras in the shot. Join our waiting list now. So you see we're going for the waiting list angle. You can see this is tallying up the money generated, how many clients we have. If you can strongly relate to the following. So there's good copy in here. Things that the reasons they should probably focus on MRR, proven strategy. Here's some graphic results in case if you don't want to watch videos. Here's how our program works, all 3 of them. Here's our guarantee. Here's option 1, option 2. And then more results here. Just like, obviously, you can sort of see the scale of the result. And of course, when they click on this, it takes us to the next page, which looks like this. So this is the application page now, okay? So if I open it up, you're just one step away. And in this video here, what I'm doing is, it's only a 4-minute video. I'm breaking down, like, you land on this page, it's a good chance you're looking for a stable, business. And it's fully edited and stuff like that. Look, we only want to help the right people. And what I'm doing in this video here is I'm just saying, look, we don't help these types of people. We help these types of people. So if that's you, like, fill in the form. It's just a really engaging video, just making sure that they know what we're all about. Not over the top. Like, I'm not talking for ages, and I'm not like kind of try to disqualify people. I'm just like, look, this is what we're all about. Fill in the form below. Here's why you should fill it in. Okay, so then here's the form where they fill it in. I'm obviously asking certain questions and stuff like that to make sure they're a fit. You'll see here there's different types of questions. There's drop downs and stuff like that. There's entry points. There's yes nos, and just one last bit of social proof there. So that's that. That's the one step away. So I've got a video here really trying to make them fill in that form. So they land on it and they go, oh, there's a big form I have to fill in. And our ideal clients will actually watch this video and they'll get a good reason why they should fill it in, okay? Then the next video is congratulations, and this is the trust building page. So now what's happened is, remember, they filled in the application form here, okay? So when I come here, like, the form's filled in, so we're all good, right? Like, I've got the notification that they've inquired, okay? Now, in this video here, it's a bit longer, but what I'm doing in this video is, like, I'm running through, like, my journey, pretty much. And I'm also advising them to do a queue jump, right? A queue jump is literally just, like, why don't you skip the queue? If you can skip the queue if you're this type of person, right? And that's what I go straight to the point within the first minute. Look, do you want a queue jump? Because if you do, if you're just kind of like, if you're a bit like me, and basically what I'm saying in the video is what I'm saying here, by the way. So I'm like, hey, so we've received your application. In the next 24 to 48 hours, I'll be reviewing and pre-approving applications. If I personally pre-approve your application, then you will get a message from me or one of my coaches. These guys have been with me for over 2 years and will be able to look at your goals, your plan to get there, and see if the upgraded coach will be a fit for you. Third, you'll get a confirmation email to confirm that we've received your application. By the way, no coach reach out to them. My appointment centre will reach out under my name, which is great because they get a confirmation from me. So we get a bunch of automations in the background telling us that someone's filled this in, right? Now, sometimes they fill it in and then they go away and book a call. Now, what's good about this is you get two types of people here. You get someone who's like, look, if you're like me and you're impatient and you know this is something that must happen now, then you'll be proactive and set up your call. It's a queue jump. This doesn't guarantee you'll be accepted, but it does give you a chance to start the process. So can you see I'm still sticking to this whole dream client funnel approach where I'm like, this is about seeing if you're a fit for us, okay? So then they click here and it opens up the queue jump call, which is just the same thing as a call, right? And now they can book a call here, okay? So what you'll see with this second part of the video is me actually just going into my story. And I'm telling the story from me being in the gym to online coaching to what I used to do to when I was burnt out, what my big struggles were. You can see here I had a gym, and then I started the upgraded coach, and here I am now type thing, okay? So, like, I'm not boring them with that. Like, I got to the point within a minute to say, by the way, book a call. Like, if you're like me and you're an implementer and you want to make shit happen, book a call. Then I'm going on to tell my story because this is building trust, okay? And this is why I've called this the trust building page, because if they get here, they've already filled their application form, so I'm going to speak to them on Instagram anyway. But the ideal world is they book a call, right? Then after they've booked a call, they get taken to the thank you page, right? So remember I showed you that little pop-up here? So when they click on this and they book a call, they get redirected to this thank you page. Now let me show you this. Now again, all of this is inside MRR systems for you to copy. There's a thank you page training, there's a dream client funnel training, all that good stuff inside Top Table. If you could open that, would be amazing. There you go. So thank you for scheduling a call. Buzzing to see you've booked one. Click the screen to unmute. And this is a 9-minute video here, and all I'm literally doing is breaking down the full service here of what it is and what it's all about. Okay. Now I probably need to redo this because, like, what I'm doing here is what we were getting for a while was people booking calls from Accelerator, and then booking call for Top Table. So I wanted to make sure that people who before their call they actually knew the difference and they knew, where we were going to take things. And then again, I'm just going on a little bit here about why we built monthly recurring revenue, why it's such a big thing, and why we focus on it. And then the big sort of problems that we solve. Now, what's important here as well is this video here, underneath, I've actually taken the biggest struggles and challenges that our coaches and personal trainers, gym owners face, and I've positioned us as the solution to all of them. So when I created this, I realised there was a few things we didn't actually do, so I had to go away and do it and provide it. So this is positioning us as the actual solution to all of the major problems. So you have to make sure you know this from your avatar and your market research, okay? Then down here we have more results. Here's what to expect next. Now here's a crucial part here. This is my objection handling videos, right? So we get a lot of coaches who come to us like, Chris, I don't actually want more money. Like, I just want more time back. And that's where we propose this question here. And you can see I've filmed it in a kind of creative way where I'm using the whiteboard and showcasing, like, what do you value more, time or money? Like, have you done other business programs, mentorships before? Just shopping around? How do I know what program will suit me? What you saving for? A house, Gucci bag, dash hound? We get some coaches who are like saving for things, but yet they can't make any more money, so it's like impossible to save. Not a fan of sales, the big one. And then FAQs as well. And then more different types of results and more video results. Okay, so that is the thank you page. And basically what happens is they book the call in here, and then over here, they start the email process. Now again, this is templated inside M&R systems, but email number one looks a bit like this. Hey, your appointment has been confirmed for appointment start time to speak with appointment first name. So that'll be like at 12:15 on the 21st with, Chris. Please watch this homework video before the call so you're prepared. Now again, this just takes them back to this page here because I want them to watch these videos. I need them to be prepared for the call. Okay. Can't wait to speak to you. Please be in a quiet spot with a pen and paper. Email to, hey, just a courtesy reminder that it's coming up at this time. Now you can have a few more emails here. This might be like a day before. I don't let the calendar book that far ahead, so we don't have much time to send a bunch of emails, but like we'll be like 24 hours, 12 hours, and then 1 hour. And it's like, hey, it's almost time for a call, so this could be email free, or it could just be the final reminder. Join the call here. Look forward to chatting. That is it. Like, the goal is to get them back to watch these videos. You don't have to do too much in these emails here, okay? And then please note, always confirm manually to improve show-up rates. So, if you're a one-man band, you might struggle with this, one-woman band, but, if you've got an appointment set at a VA, when someone books a call here, right, someone books a call and they end up on the thank you page, the call's going to go ahead, but I still get my appointment setter, and you should still message the person on Instagram, go, hey, hope you're good, I just saw a call come through there, excited, can't wait, I'll speak to you then. And you just get that double confirmation. Why not? Like, why not? And this is especially so important for online coaching because, like, people are a bit more skeptical, like I said, and if you don't build up trust, there's a high chance that they could cancel the call. So we need to make sure that we're constantly on top of these prospects when it comes to online coaching, okay? That is it. This is basically the online coaching sales process. Like, if honestly, if you go away and replicate these videos in your own way, in your own spin, you'll be in a very, very good spot. Trust me. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, not the upgraded coach team, I'm going to change it to anyone linked as a viewer. And where am I? If I go back, nope, not there. Yeah, let me just pause this a sec. Yeah, all good. So this is, the online coaching sales process. I'm going to put this link here on the document so that you can access each of these pages and you can go in and scan and see the approach. Honestly, like, I can't stress enough if you just come in here, right, and don't copy me. I hate that. But like, if you just zoom out, right, on the funnel, on the page, and go, right, what is each section? What is he doing in each section here? So testimonials, what is he saying in this part? What could I put in this part? What could I put in this part, in this part? And that is it. Like, just break the funnel down and then produce it to you. Just please make sure it suits your voice. Please make sure it suits your type of business. Remember, people who buy, business owners who buy from other business owners, B2B, buy differently from B2C, okay? So that's it. Online coaching, sales process, the outline. Let's get it installed, man, and things will look good.